Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. Doing it a bit later because I had a storm, lost power, blah, 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 as they say in Seinfeld, yada, yada, yada. Let's get right into it, though. I normally don't do this. I normally do a preamble of, well, here's how I thought about the week and how did Ashton feel about the week. Nah, there's something I want to talk about. I want to talk about it since Saturday. I was pissed that I lost power because I was trying to the bit to do this. We're going to talk about SmackDown first because, to be honest, there were things that really irked me on SmackDown on Friday. And we're going to start with item number one. Uh, I really feel like the build to EO Bailey is becoming disrespectful, in my opinion. I hated what they did on this episode. Um, Now some might find that hyperbolic, and that's okay. I just feel like you've got two incredible women who shared a history with each other. And even when you think about their histories apart from each other, their individual histories as competitors, I mean, it's the stuff of documentaries. Io coming to America to bet on herself. And when she was in Japan, she was a part of stardom, which has gone through a lot of changes. Bailey, who we already know a lot of her story, to be fair, but for people that may not be used to her being a babyface, it's worth a rehash. Like, there is so much there. And I feel like they're really telling on themselves. It's like they know that the fans know that this isn't the main event. So it's like they're telling themselves, well, because this isn't the main event, like we're just going to give it a subpar effort. So, yeah, what do we got here? We've got Bailey in a backstage segment with Naomi. That's all great, right? It makes sense. Naomi tried to come to her save last week gonna, and again, just being the baby is like recognizing when people actually try to have your back. It's the first time somebody's tried to have Bailey's back since this whole thing started, because we already know that Dakota doing what she does is a backstabber. Bianca then comes in and says, you need to be accountable more. And I'm still loving the edge to Bianca here because I think it's so reflective of our own time, where we're trying to hold each other accountable more because, as we've even said on the show, it's not like institutions are doing it. When a powerful person gets a light sentence, well, then it's up to public opinion to hold them to some sort of account. We're seeing that a lot now, even recently with the Dan Schneider stuff. I was even talking to Ash a little bit about that before we went live. So, obviously, Bailey isn't nearly as terrible as that or the people that normally kind of fit this bill, but she did do bad things. She made a group to obtain power to run the women's division on SmackDown and possibly even the entire WWE if their original plan had gone forward. And, there is some answering. She needs to do that. So I love Bianca. Do not think she's the bad person. I still worry that WWE might think that she is, but, we might come back to that a bit later. Then Naomi has a match with Io. Great match. I was glad that it got a little bit of time, seemingly. I thought those two did great. It's nice that she's able to flex since coming back to WWE from TNA, where she was able to at least be Knockouts champion, and have these kinds of matches. Io, of course, wins. Right call. She's the champion. But before that match, though, she attacks Bailey backstage. She gets the jump on her. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, Certain storylines like this get multiple segments in a night. Let's see what they do with it. Naomi gets beat. They're doing a beat down. Then Bianca comes out and she starts to get the momentum. But of course, the story is Damage Control has the numbers game. And they eventually lay Bianca out. Now, the crowd is chanting for Bailey at this point. I'm even thinking, like, oh, well, it's been a whole match since Bailey got beat down. She's going to recover and come out with a pipe or a chair or something. Right? Nothing. And I cannot tell you how much this irked me. Like, I'm not going to say this is the biggest hit that I've ever read. There's no reason for hyperbole. It just irked me because we know before this, Bailey had like one of those like backstage, like I don't know, like Instagram videos or what, where she goes and she's talking about Dakota saying, I brought you into this. Fans can cheer me and fans can boo me, but the truth is the truth. And the truth is I brought you here. I brought Io here. And now I'm going to take out Damage Control one by one. Now, obviously, when it comes to the women, we've never really had our expectations, kind of met in that way. I remember how many times did we want Asuka to snap or go on a murderous rampage because she's Asuka, and that never happened. But when Bailey said that, you know what it made me think of? It made me think of, in a less hokey way, when Stone Cold hunted down DX and he got like Road Dogg in a bear trap, and I think he caught another one in one of those traps where like the rope hangs by their ankles, and they're dangling upside down, kind of thing. And I'm like, wouldn't it be amazing if just every week, or and maybe even would be 2 segments per show because we have a very little time now until WrestleMania, which is another reason why I'm annoyed because I feel like they haven't taken advantage of their time at all. You see like a member of Damage Control laid out, and it ends with just her confronting Io in the ring because it is the WrestleMania matchup. You don't want to just do that from behind, especially because she is the baby face, or at the very least, beating them in singles matches, something. But Io gets the jump and she's allowed to win this night again. And like, now I feel like we're doing Naomi and Bianca versus Kabuki Warriors at WrestleMania. That was the vibe that I got from Bianca and Naomi being on the same side because Naomi gets misted, and then they get a follow-up segment where Bianca is helping Naomi get her eyes flushed, and then Tiffany Stratton, because she's on our roster, she walks by and she's like, Blue's actually a pretty good color on you, and Bianca looks like she wants to throw hands. So they're still keeping that match in their back pocket for whenever. But I just feel like you made Bailey look kind of like a chump tonight, or excuse me, on Friday. I'm used to us doing this Saturday, and even that wouldn't have been correct, but I digress. You kind of made her look like a chump on Friday because she's talking all this stuff. She's got her chest, and it's like, I'm going to do this. And then Io by herself jumps her, gets the jump, and Bailey just doesn't recover to even help Naomi and Bianca to pay it forward for what Naomi tried to do last week. I hated the writing of this, man. I don't know. I had to lay it out for everybody, but I hated the writing of this. I feel like it's really disrespectful to Io and Bailey, and especially Bailey having won the Rumble and going for like over an hour, in fact, beating Rhea's record. And she goes from that to you're making her look like this. Like, if it was all of Damage Control, maybe. And if you would have done something that like was supposed to be emphasized, like, take this thing and roll it against her leg and like really hit her leg or something, then I could have bought it. But it just seemed like a pretty basic beatdown by one person. Granted, it is Io who's very capable, and just nothing after that. No follow-up segment. Bianca and Naomi at the follow-up segment. So I really didn't like this. I'm very curious though what you felt about this because I know the women have been doing numbers, which is another reason this confused me. I'm like, why aren't you leaning into that? The women are one of the few things that are a positive draw for you, and I just feel like it wasn't taken advantage of. What did you think about this?
No, I definitely agree with you. I do think that more than anyone, this was disrespectful to Bailey specifically, and it's really starting
Yes,
to make me think that Io is just going to retain at Mania.
yes,
Because it's starting to feel more and more like they're going to treat the storyline the way that they treated the Roman Sammy storyline, basically,
yeah, yeah,
where like the big pop wasn't ever meant to be the underdog babyface winning the title. It was always just meant to be them getting out from the shackles of the oppressive heel faction.
yes, yes,
But then it's like it doesn't work here because the oppressive heel faction was made by the person who ended up being the underdog babyface. So it's like it is more complex, and that's like something that you would normally want to give credit for, but it feels like it's more complex in a way that makes it make less sense.
yes. Yeah, I'm not saying don't make EO look strong, and that is one thing I will say. Damage control does look
Oh, I did
pretty
want to
strong.
say, by the way,
Yes, of
I feel
course.
like the main thing that could have potentially fixed this is if they would have shown Io hitting Bailey in the face with the title before things.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, even that still it would have been questionable of like you really couldn't recover from a title shot to the face in the time that it took an entire match to happen.
yeah,
Cause that like I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. And it was one of those things where Friday night while I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, Bailey's gonna come out, Bailey's gonna come out, and then she didn't. And I kind of had this feeling of like, this is really weird. And my immediate instinct was like, okay, I'm gonna just wait and see like how they explain this away next week. But like, if we're just examining things for how they are and taking it on the face, taking things, you know, as far as the exact how they're presented, rather than trying to like wait and see what happens or interpret or whatever, then yeah, just this the way that it was presented made Bailey look really, really weak. Like really, really, really weak. Like special guest star weak.
Dude, and I'll tell you what's kind of messing with me too about this whole thing. It's like to us, right? And to the freaking crowds, including that crowd on Friday, Bailey is a babyface. But just in my mind with the writing, sometimes I don't know if WWE is very sure. Because, like, on one hand, you have Bailey kind of cut the promo and have a smile when fans are chanting for her and being like, okay, I'll take that. So maybe she's gradually finding her way back to full blown babyface. But then again, she had that exclusive that I mentioned earlier where she's saying, all the fans can cheer me and or the fans can boo me when she's fired up. But I'm like, that's not reflective of reality. I have not heard any fans boo you. Fans want to see you. I felt bad for that crowd on Friday, to be honest, because they were chanting for Bailey to come out and make the save,
Yeah,
which would have been great for her like new babyface turn after so many years,
yeah.
and she doesn't even show up. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, if Bailey really wants to get her hands on damage control, I don't even care like what damage she would have gone on, even if it would have been the leg thing that I mentioned earlier. Show the visual of her hobbling and maybe just collapsing right as she's about to reach the ring with damage control in there, and maybe they're just laughing, but it shows she wants to get her hands on him so bad she'll fight through any pain, even if her body is like Bailey, honey. No, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just feel like the way they're writing Bailey, you said it earlier, the way they're writing Bailey, it just really looks like Io's going to retain. And that is such a shame because, again, she set a record in the Rumble. They were really building up. The first segment they did for this feud with the standoff with the pipe in Bailey's hands and the title in Io's, masterclass. Masterclass. That should have been the whole thing is like, will I have it in me to fight you? I know I got it in me to fight everybody else. And then they had to do the roundabout thing with Dakota, which I don't even think they did that right, which we already talked about a few weeks ago.
I know, right? They did that in an anticlimactic way.
This feud has just been getting disrespected from the jump after that masterclass segment, and I'm really not here for it. I'm still here for the match
It's
itself.
like whoever was writing this storyline pulled off that segment, got overpraised for it. You know, like Fletcher said, the two most harmful words in the English language are "good job," and they got too much praise for that segment, and they figured, okay, I can just coast to Mania from here on out.
Bro, I know this is a weird comparison, and I don't blame anybody if this is where I lose them, but I almost wonder if this is going to be like a Daniel Bryan Sheamus type feud where like the WrestleMania match was only 18. I'm not saying their match is going to be short of Mania. That's not what I'm implying. But like the story, I feel like going into Mania really wasn't that much because it was going to just lead to the moment of 18 seconds. But then the real build happened at like because at Extreme Rules they did a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I remember being really good.
Yeah.
Because Danielson was working heel, and
So you're
I've
thinking
always
maybe there's like a non-finish or like a screwy finish or like Bailey gets cheated at Mania.
Yeah, I could honestly see it. And then but I think the bigger point that I'm trying to make, which is why I said I don't blame people if I lost them with that example, it's just the thing that I could think of in this heat of the moment, is that because so much of Mania right now is emphasized on fucking Cody and the bloodline, which I like, I didn't like their segment on Friday either. Roman was good though, but it's like again, I just want to get to the match at this point. Where like so much of the emphasis is on them post Mania, you can start emphasizing Bailey and Io more, I would hope, because the next pay per view would be Backlash France. And
Well,
I think
that's
it'd
the
be
other
really,
thing too is that it feels weird because it almost feels like they're focusing more on Bianca and Naomi and their relationship with Bailey than they're focusing on Bailey's quest to win the title from Io.
I'm glad you said that, bro, because again, I like Bianca and I like Naomi. I want to be very careful what I criticize here because my criticism is absolutely with the booking and the writing. The talents all did the best they could with what they had. I can't emphasize that part enough. But I'm like, you really could, because again, actually, let me ask because it's something I said earlier, because I know I said a lot earlier, because again, this is all built up since Saturday. Do you agree with me that we're probably doing Bianca Naomi versus Kabuki Warriors at Mania? Do you feel they're going for the tag titles or
Assuming
no?
Nazca is fully like healthy and cleared, because I know she was limping a couple weeks ago, but I didn't look like she was limping this week, so I guess she's good. Yeah, I would say that seems pretty likely. Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's just weird though
cool.
because I feel like Tiffany has been involved in so much. It's weird that they would
Yeah.
just not use her.
Yeah, especially because again, when you're saying they've used her so much, including here, because she had that diss of Naomi, and Bianca
Yeah,
very clearly didn't like that.
Who else
Um,
has been a problem? Who else has been like a thorn in Naomi and Bianca's side over the last couple of months? Has anyone?
I don't think so.
Shit. Let me actually look at Elimination Chamber Perth. Who eliminated it? Was it did Tiffany eliminate both of them?
No, remember, Tiffany eliminated Naomi, but Liv eliminated Bianca.
Okay. But Liv also eliminated Tiffany, so it's not like they're gonna partner up.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. You can't really take anything from that. Yeah, no, I'm really not sure. It's a weird situation they've got going on where it feels very much like there's beef between the Naomi, Bianca, and Kabuki Warriors teams, but it also feels like Tiffany is like a fifth wheel here, where like she has been constantly getting inserted into everything, and it feels like WWE wants to do something with her, but maybe they will just wait until after Mania to do something with her. I can't imagine her not doing anything at Mania. Maybe they'll have like a big battle royal at Mania, like a women's WrestleMania battle royal that that she'll just win. I don't know.
I'm telling you, bro, if anybody isn't a Tiffany Stratton fan, or hell, I guess if you are, we welcome all sorts of fans so long as you're respectful into our space. Wherever you stand with Tiffany Stratton, buckle up. Like they're already kind of signaling that this is her year. She
Bro,
hasn't lost yet on SmackDown. Um, Still think she's going to be women's Money in the Bank. And honestly, bro, I think it was you that said this, so to give you proper credit, because I talked about this weeks ago, but I think you kind of reined me in and you kind of gave it more perspective. Where originally I thought they might have the balls to do Tiffany Bianca at Mania, but I think you put it in perspective and you're like, no, I don't think they would do it so soon, but I do think it'll be like a big program that they have
you
this
know
year.
what though, dude? What if they do Tiffany and Jade Cargill as a team?
You know what though? The only reason I disagree with you, right, is that wouldn't make any sense because remember, Jade took umbrage with Tiffany interrupting her time with Adam Pierce to talk crap about the chamber
That's
before birth.
right.
So I would have a problem with that too because the writing would
God.
be like, you had beef with her. Why are you what?
But
Um,
now we've got Jade debuting on SmackDown this week.
yes, yes. I thought her video package was great, by the way.
So
If I could
like,
praise some things about SmackDown, I
yeah,
actually thought that was well
I
done.
just can't imagine though that she's not going to be on Mania at all either. So like that's another thing that's like, okay, so we've got two women here that both feel like they belong, or at least both feel like WWE is going to want them to be on Mania. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then like they've interacted too. Has Jade interacted with anyone but as far as like Naomi or Bianca or the Kabuki Warriors at all?
She's hung out with Bianca and she's kind of had problems with Tiffany, but like
God.
that's it, I think.
Yeah. It is throwing me for a loop, man. I really don't know what they're going for here.
Bro, the telling of Bailey versus EO could have been so easy and straightforward while still not sacrificing any complexity, mind you, or any interest. It
Wait,
really
I
just
have an idea.
yes.
This is unfortunate because the tag titles wouldn't be on the line, but maybe they could do that in a separate match because there are two nights of Mania. They could do Kabuki Warriors, Dakota, and Tiffany versus Naomi, Bianca, Jade, and Mia.
I like that. I like that
Because Mia
idea.
has also not been a fan of Tiffany since she showed up.
Yeah, I mean, remember Tiffany slapped Mia and then beat her in a match later on that same night. That
I
was a
feel
few
like she's
weeks
beaten
ago.
her a second time since then as well.
She might have. I'm not sure. She might have. Um, yeah, I like that idea. I think that's solid. I
Yeah,
just
Tiffany beat Michin on SmackDown on March 8th. Like so like just 2 weeks ago basically.
yes.
And that was in 2.5 minutes, by the way.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. SmackDown has a pretty stacked women's roster, especially now with Jade. I don't know how that's going to change with the draft, but looking at it right now, which is all we can do, it's stacked. And I feel like you gave the people that are actually genuinely bringing in viewers feed like dude. I'm sorry to harp on that, but if you're going to harp on something, harp on the most important thing, right? And I feel like that is the most important thing. You're a business. You're drawing people to your product. They're like, hey, these women, I like them. I'm not saying give them 5 segments per show, although to be perfectly honest, if you did do that, I wouldn't complain. I'd look the other way and I'd be like, oh, this is cool. This is what you do with your draw this week. It's just mad disrespectful. I'm sorry. Um, Also, with things I really didn't care for, I won't say I was as visceral about this as I was Bailey Io. I actually want you to talk about this first. What did you think about Ray Santos from this week?
Barely watched it.
Okay. So I appreciate the honesty because I never like to overtalk. I do always like to give you a chance to say something too. But since I did watch it, because I always promise you when I miss a show originally that I'll go back and watch it. I did that with both SmackDown and NXT. I watched it on two times speed, but I didn't miss anything. If anything, it forces me to pay attention because you will miss something. I got through the whole two shows in like under an hour. Um, but yeah, Ray and Santos, solid matchup. I can even say that the finish was clever because the whole thing was leave LWO in the back, leave LDF in the back, and Dominic wearing the Mysterio mask, kind of tripping up Ray. I thought Santos did a beautiful 619, and the Phantom Driver was impeccable, right? So the in ring work, great. Ray, I think, I don't know if it was a work or if he genuinely messed up, but if he genuinely messed up, he did a great recovery of it and kind of made it a story of like, oh, am I moving a bit gingerly on this knee where I think like a springboard kind of got messed up for him early. But I thought the two of them, was it the best match they could have? I hope not, only because it was good, but I really think there's something great in both of them or between the two of them. Where I'm a bit like put off, right? Because again, this is just pure conjecture. You can't get mad about what hasn't happened. For one thing, I don't like that there was a winner, even though it was a bit screwy with the Dom interference. I really do think you shouldn't have had these two touch till Mania. But then again, Ray had the injury. You had so little before Mania. Maybe you're like, no, if we're gonna do another one-on-one match, first of all, we'll want to do it with stakes. I know we even kind of tossed around the idea of like because I think Dom was the one that said this, and then Dom said Santos would lose, and then I had the whole kind of like, oh, why Dom, why of hair versus mask. We want to give that proper build. I don't know if that's how WWE's thinking, but if it is, I respect it. But I don't like that we already did a singles match, and even despite the screwiness, we did get a definitive winner
Yeah.
in Santos, which made me happy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I wanted that to be kind of a crowning moment for him, and it kind of just felt like, okay. Um, but now I think I'll tell you what my working theory is, man. If we're talking about tag matches, I think for WrestleMania Night One, maybe even the kickoff, I don't know, is going to be Dom and Santos versus
Ray and Carly.
Andrade and Ray.
Oh, Andrade.
What? Who were you going to say? Because I didn't hear you.
Ray and Carlito.
No, I was thinking Andrade because Andrade has been saying Dom like I'll see you soon and this and that, and like Dom's been wanting to recruit Andrade, but I think Andrade being a babyface, at least right now, is gonna want to have Ray's back. So I'm thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
Andrade and Ray versus Santos and Dom. Plus, it works because if I'm doing this, then I got to play by my own rules. Dom's a Raw guy right now, but so is Andrade.
Is
So Ray would need.
Carlito hurt?
I think he's healthy. I don't think Carlito's hurt.
It's just
No.
weird because I feel like he's the one that started the whole thing with Ray and Santos feuding in the first place, and for him to not be involved in the Mania match would be really weird, especially because like it's Carlito. It's like a big deal that he's wrestling at all. So for him to not be involved in the Mania match would be weird to me.
You are absolutely correct. I don't even think anything you're saying is wrong. I just, from my vantage point, I'm bringing in Andrade only because Dom got involved, right?
Right.
So like, and I feel like the most immediate counterweight is Andrade because they've interacted on every Raw like the last couple weeks. So I'm just kind of thinking about the more immediate present. But I totally get like we want narrative consistency, and you're right. Carlito's the catalyst of all of this, which is why I didn't even necessarily want Dom. Like, I agree. Let me just make it crystal clear. I agree with Dom, with Foster. Oh my God, Foster! I feel like that was an insult to you. I am so sorry. You know I love you. We will hammer it out later. You complete me. You're perfect. But I agree with Foster that he said just don't like Dom being in a story that he didn't need to be in. I like Dom's already had his story with Ray, and you very easily could have like revisited that at any time, whatever. I know Santos has mentioned mentioned Dom, excuse me, in promos, but that shouldn't be like a pretext to be like, oh, now we can use Dom. Like, this is another case of where I feel like Judgment Day is spread a little too thin, and I still don't
Oh
necessarily buy
God.
them as is, even
I
though they
don't
have
want to
done
do
good.
this. I don't want to do this, but I have to.
Okay.
What if we had Ray, Andrade, and Carlito on one side,
Yeah.
and then we had Santos, Dom, I gotta swallow this. I gotta swallow the vomit.
Okay. Wow. I'm glad you're okay at least because that sounded a little bad.
JD.
I understand why you don't like it. Obviously, for the most immediate reason being JD. But you know why I don't like any of our ideas? Because I feel like LDF and LWO are getting hoed. Like
Yeah, they really
they
are. It should be, yeah, they should involve Joaquin and Raul and the yeah, Angel and Humberto
Umberto,
and
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those 4 guys and look, you know LWO, well, yeah, LWO, I've got the right side of it. It took a while, like a good while for me because I wasn't the biggest fan of Joaquin Wild, but I've actually come on here the past couple weeks and praised him because I feel like he's really stepped it up. He's doing some of the most insane high flying shit I think on WWE TV. And I'm like, these 4 guys, LDF and LWO that we just named, they have been busting their ass and like I love Andrade. It's great to actually be able to watch him again. And I know, hey, you were doing much better than I because you watched him multiple times on AEW when he was over there. But like not like this. Don't walk over their bodies that they have been like doing these high-paced fun matches just to get them in. Like it just again, the word of the day, I guess, for this episode is disrespectful. It feels disrespectful. What are we doing? So yeah, this match didn't peeve me nearly as much as all the Bailey EO stuff, like not even close.
Right.
But I didn't like how this was handled either because I feel like again, this was a mid card feud that actually had legs, very similar to Imperium New Day, which I even kind of have a problem with that retroactively because you've got New Day in this tag title ladder match, but not Imperium. I have a problem with that personally because Imperium won the street fight. They won the feud. So why is New Day getting the title shot? Meanwhile, you could say as a retort, oh, but Imperium had a non-title match against the champions and they lost. Um, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't do it enough for me. I think they should absolutely have been a part of this ladder match, and the idea that they don't even give a chance to vie for it really ticks me off. I don't know why. I want to apologize to everybody because it might come across on here that I'm just in a bad mood. But yeah, this is more critical than I've been since we've started the more conversational style of in review. I really am not liking how certain things in the mid card and with the women are going. It's just a problem for me. Um, so yeah, that was that. Speaking of tag titles, I'm going to tell you right now, bro. When I was watching these shows back, I skipped both of the tournament qualifying matches. So I will just say quickly, even though we're not a recap show, just fill in the blanks. Gonna know Super Blue, or somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, but what about this?" Waller and Theory advanced, and Street Profits advanced, which good for the Street Profits at least. God, I am so sick of carrying Cross and this goddamn faction. But yeah, didn't watch either of those matches. Really did not care. And then I guess just to touch on it, dude, I didn't care for Roman and Cody. I thought Roman had some good lines. Dude, honestly, low key, I thought Roman kind of buried Cody here, and I'm not even saying that
Well,
in a bad way.
I
Like he
also just
straight
want
up,
to say you are not the only person with this sentiment. I've noticed a lot of people online um talking shit about this segment and really not liking it, and it's funny because everyone has their different opinions and they all want to think that they know what's going on behind the scenes. Nobody can figure out who to blame. Like, I've seen people say, oh man, they're really starting to give Cody more creative control, and he's starting to get into like basically like AEW Codyverse type shit, and this is bad. And then I've seen other people be like, oh my god, why are the WWE writers giving Cody such garbage content to work with? This is so bad. It's like, pick your fucking lane. Who are we blaming here? But yeah, I guess the general consensus is that the writing for this promo, at least on Cody's end, was really bad, and people just can't decide who wrote the segment.
bro. And again, I want to be clear about something too, because I know it's just easy to think like, oh, John just hated everything. No, 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 no. I thought Roman was great per year. In fact, I welcomed him kind of knocking Cody down a peg. I'm like, yeah, fuck this dude.
No,
But
dude,
I'm just
I need to make. I mean, I feel like people probably already know this, but I really like Cody. To me, is the living embodiment of privilege. And as
yes,
far as I'm concerned, he can fuck literally all the way off and then fuck off even further.
yeah, into the sun.
Yes.
Into the sun. No, dude, for real. Because when Roman straight up said you're like a politician, like you're lying to these people, you don't even. Does anybody got any babies they want Cody to get? Like, dude, I was howling. I was like, oh my god, like this is the best part of it. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Again, you already know how I feel. I don't have to explain myself to you and vice versa. You never have to explain yourself to me when it comes to this stuff. You know, I already feel like Cody being the one to end this reign is just massive disrespect. This has been a masterclass title reign. We may never see anything like this again in our lifetimes. Um, and like this is the guy. Like Cody even said, when it comes to ending your reign, I'm not number two because I guess he's referring to when Roman has called him like
Oh
the
God,
Christmas one.
yes, this line was so bad.
I'm number one. And it's like,
No, he
bro,
didn't say I'm number one. He said I'm the one.
yeah. I'm telling you right now, if we're looking at world title matches, Seth Drew is blowing them out of the water, and it's all because of Drew. It's amazing
Dude,
that Drew,
literally, if you just
yeah,
look at who's putting in the work to build their world title match, it's Drew at one, Roman at two, Seth at three, and then about 80 tons of garbage, and then Cody way back in the. And actually, no, I can't even say that. No, it's Drew at one, The Rock at two, because he's putting in more work to build to Roman Cody than Roman is. Roman at three, then Seth, then the crap, then Cody at the bottom.
I just want to say though, as if I'm his defense attorney and he's already got Paul Heyman for that, I don't blame Roman. If you were to tell me you're working with this dude again, I'd be like, okay, okay.
Dude, it's just so funny that like I personally land on the side of the fans who feel like Cody's content on his promos right now feels familiar and that it feels like Codyverse shit, which means that it's very likely that he has more creative control and that he's writing his own shit now. Because like the people who are saying that are the people who watched his AEW run and who know what the Codyverse shit looks like and sounds like and can recognize it from a mile away. And so when they're the ones saying, "Oh yeah, that's what this is," I'm gonna believe them.
Yes.
And because we have WWE's writers writing a bunch of great shit for everyone else, so why would they pick on Cody and be like, "Hey, Cody, fuck you. We're giving you bad content."
I'm sorry. I know you just threw that in there to make a broader point, but first of all, I popped with the way you said, Cody, fuck you. And now I need a writer's room where that happens. Where like they're just like, hey Cody, we got your stuff for this week. Yeah, yeah, fuck you. Huh? And then they look at it, it's like, oh.
And then he looks at it and it's like, "Wait. I made fun of him for saying this. Why do you have me saying it now?"
God, I love that he does a little mini John Bernthal with none of the charisma. That's so Cody. That's such a Cody thing to do. Wait. Um,
No, but like that's the vibe though, is that like apparently we're just back in the Codyverse now. And the funniest thing is people hate it and they're trying to blame WWE writers for it. And like I saw someone go after the Rock's writer, Brian Gewirtz, and Gewirtz responded with like a total burn, and I thought it was hilarious actually. It was like something along the lines of like, if I wanted a wrestling opinion, I would rather get one from one of the sex bots that you follow than from you because they know just as much about wrestling, but at least they work for a living.
oh my god. Okay. Fucking Road Dog needs to like learn from that dude how to do a burn and like clap back at fans when you get bro. That was legendary. That
It's
was
just
that was great.
But it's just so funny though because The Rock has been putting on classic segments. Roman's promos have been at least cheeky enough to be good, if not great. And then Cody comes out with the and people are like, "Oh my god, WWE writers suck."
Bro, I hate the idea that this man may be on the cusp of a world title reign. And like, you know what I've just been telling myself is what people were telling themselves last year when I miraculously emerged unscathed from being me. Uh, and was like, and they're like, I'm bracing for it. That is where I am now to be because like again, I still am keeping that prediction that I've been hyping up the last couple of weeks in my back pocket, and I'm still going to use it. I'm me. I'm the guy on here that against all the odds, and let's be real here, all the evidence. I'm like, no, my face knows things no other face knows. And we're just all like, well, dude, that might be true, but relax, please, for the love of God. But even me, there is that part of me that's like, okay, John, look, we have our fun. We have a great time here. I love the conversations we have because they're so spirited and so passionate while being respectful. But I mean, just look at it. Like it's happening, my dude. You need to accept it. And the thing is, man, I make no qualms to you or anybody when I say I refuse to accept it. It's like the kid that eats vegetables. I'll do it. except the only difference is vegetables actually have a function and they're good for you. There is nothing good to me for the business about Cody being the one to end this reign. Why do you think this reign has been doing such box office? Because like it's a reign that nobody thought would happen. And it's a guy that feels like he's untouchable, and a guy that doesn't even know where to get a tattoo or what to get a tattoo of is gonna waltz in here and be like, "I'm the one." Like, oh my god, dude, you pretentious ass motherfucker. And then just to talk about the rest of the segment, you have Roman like intimate that it's gonna be like a mugging, right? Because it's like Solo and Jimmy come out. But then you have Cody, and I actually like this bit. I'll give credit to this bit where it's like, hey, Jay and Seth are here. It's not going to be so easy for the bloodline. Um, but they don't do anything. Like it
No.
would have been so cool. You would have at least had some vitality in this segment because they've done this before several times in the course of you and I and our wrestling fandom. We've seen this countless times where you do a brawl, but you cut the show while the brawl's in progress. They've done this for Rumbles. They've
Honestly,
done this
even if
for
they
all
would have
kinds of
just
stuff.
lined up 3v3 and had like a proper stare down rather than three of them being in the ring and three of them being out on the ramp.
Yeah, or even that. That's a good point actually, because I was looking for a brawl. You're just looking for better symmetry and like a more like emphatic aesthetic
Well, yeah,
where
because
it's
I hope
like,
that this
there's no
leads
such
to a
distance.
match either this week or next, like a 3-on-3 match.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just like, no, no. I
Jimmy
mean,
can
good
eat the
suggestions.
pin; he'll be fine.
Yeah. And yeah, like God, I don't know. I really did not. Actually, no, I do know. I just know that I did not care for this at all. This sucked. Cody sucks. I hate it. And again, like I really did not expect, bro, in all honesty. I really did not expect to be so negative about SmackDown this week. I really didn't. Um, I like the stuff with KO and Orton. And Pretty Deadly. I'm getting a little sick of, but I guess this is another thing I have to accept of Pretty Deadly kind of being the charismatic jobber tag team. Um, and to be honest, I would like a little bit of tension between KO and Orton. And then to be fair, they've kind of done sprinklings of it, and I wonder if we're gonna get even more when they face Pretty Deadly next week.
Oh
Um, I'm
God,
just
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just looking forward to the KO Orton singles match. I think those two could low key cook. So I'm cool with that. So yeah, like I said, Jade Cargill's video package was great. I actually closed out of the recap things I opened, and I have no idea why I did that. I'm actually starting my day with this show, everybody, because my sleep schedule has been absolutely busted. But it's great that I'm starting my day with all of you. So I guess that's why I'm just a little off. But yeah, SmackDown had some good stuff. Again, I skipped the tag title tournament matches because I really did not care about either one. Yeah, it had some good stuff, but this is a weaker SmackDown that we've had since we've just been more conversational about in reviews. Is there anything you want to say about SmackDown before we move on to you want to do NXT or Raw next? You have a preference?
Raw.
You want to do Raw next? Okay, cool. Um, I will say with Raw very quickly, the only thing I did not watch is Last Woman Standing because again, I just did not care. I do not want to support Nia Jax, and honestly, I feel like this is a waste of Becky Lynch's time. I watched everything else though. So, is there anything you wanted to talk about with Raw to open that just jumps out of your mind, or would you like
Oh,
me to kind of pick
there
what's out
was
there?
one thing on SmackDown that I don't think I remember you bringing up. That we got a Braun Breaker vignette.
We did. Yeah, I guess that's the only reason I didn't talk about it was because it was just a vignette, but I thought it was well done. Um, you already know I love Braun to death. I think he's a
Yeah, I'm
beast. So.
excited, man. I'm looking forward to see if they do anything with him at Mania. Although I kind of doubt at this point that they would find anything for him.
No, because I think his big thing is going to be stand and deliver. Being one half of the tag team champions.
Right, of course.
Um, But yeah, man, the first proper Mania that he's like really on and has like, man,
Oh yeah.
s-
What do you think of LA Knight being a home invader?
oh God, I didn't even again because we're not a recap show. I don't give a fuck about LA Night. I wasn't even gonna mention it. You have to really break into homes to get some kind of reaction because you're a fucking dud. And I was gonna say turd, which also has a like a U and a D in there. But yeah, yeah, dud. You're a turd. You suck. And honestly, I wish Allen would have pressed charges. If he would have sent LA Knight to jail, there's no way he would have made Mania, and then AJ could have had a match that actually befits his talents rather than working with that shitter. Um,
All right. I
so
just wanted to
yeah.
bring those two things up, and now we can talk about Raw.
But again, I give the floor to you, sir. Was there anything specifically from Raw that you want to talk about, or just wanted to pick a
Oh yeah.
topic
I
that I
mean, since
could? Yeah.
you open SmackDown with a complaint, I'll open Raw with a complaint. Why the fuck And I know the answer is Triple H, but Triple H, bro, you really have got to reevaluate, man, because DIY ain't it. Why the
Dude,
fuck,
I'm looking at their segment on this recap page that I'm on. Dude,
dude?
yes. No, go.
DIY should not have beaten the Creed Bros. The Creed Bros were so fucking hot in that match. The crowd was so behind them, and when DIY won, the crowd died immediately. It was so bad.
Because the Creed bro, I mean, I'm agreeing with you, first of all. Let me just come around again and say we're in solidarity on this. But it's because the Creed Bros were doing the more exciting stuff in the match. I mean, these guys are hosses. I know a lot of attention gets put on Julius, like Julius is gonna be the star for the company one day and stuff, and fair enough. But like Brutus is packing too.
Hmm.
I just want both these guys to get love. Do they still need to
Brutus
grow?
has
Like,
classic good looks too.
yeah, absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
Julius looks like he could be like the next Cena, but like Brutus, he's got more of like that old school like Bruno San Martino type good looks, you know?
Yes, yes. And like God, dude, it was such a fun tag match in large part because of the creeds. But I agree with you. Like commentary even tried to make it more sympathetic, like, oh, DIY has never been in a mania or this and that. And I'm like, if it was younger me, if it was kid me, I'd be all about that. Yeah, live your dreams, go for it all, this and that. And I still have a lot of those same values, but like I'm also a bit more discerning with those values, which is just a really fancy way of saying fuck these guys. And I'm like, you know, give it give it to the creeds because I really like the creeds backstage segment, like their exclusive.com exclusive, because Julius was very clearly frustrated. I don't know if this signals a heel turn for the team. I don't know why I've just internalized
No.
that when you're frustrated, you turn heel. That's probably something
This
very
is one
broken. But
time where it shouldn't though. They're so good.
dude, I know. I
But the
know.
thing is though, the only reason that they would turn heel is because they were written to lose. And so like the writing is writing them to be in a situation where they can write them to turn heel, but it's all bad. They should be over. They should be baby faces. They should be winning. What the fuck, writers?
Yeah, the writers turned heel first. Anything the Creed Bros do is self defense.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to do that cute little joke of, look at the percentage where some of it is wrong. No, it's 100% self defense. Fuck you. Um, So yeah, DIY going to Mania, and the crowd goes mild.
No, the crowd went dead. The crowd did not. They were like, it was like Champa rolled Julius over for a 2 count, and Gargano dumped Brutus out of the ring, and then Gargano did the super kick, and then Champa rolled him up, got a 3 count, and the crowd was like, "Oh." I feel
These
like
guys
going
in their
mild is more of like a, "Oh, okay, yay." But this was
yeah.
like, this is just a total letdown. The crowd was annoyed. They were like, "Oh man."
Remember when these guys in their relationship was one of the hottest things in pro wrestling? Because I remember, and
I mean,
like
yeah, I remember that,
Jesus.
and I remember the way without Champa being involved was being one of the most entertaining things in the industry. So, like, we know that they're both capable of being entertaining. We just haven't seen it in a long, long time and need to be reminded of it because they are not putting in the effort right now.
I want to welcome Javaris to the chat. Javaris, I just want to reprise something real quick based on your most recent comment when you said, "Bro, DIY are already getting already got that title shot and lost. Why are they getting another shot?" Dude, not only am I a bit ticked about that, especially at the expense of the Creed brothers. I already said, but you weren't here, that I'm actually low key pissed that Imperium isn't in this when they've been doing great work with the New Day for like over a month, and they won that street fight. But New Day are in this ladder match. Now, I have no problem with New Day getting a Mania spot. They are like grandfathered in the work these guys have done. As long as they can go, if they want a Mania spot, give it to them. I mean, God knows all the white mediocre talent gets that every fucking year. But I feel like Imperium deserved to be here too because they won that feud with the New Day, but they're not, they didn't even like, I don't even know if they got a chance to qualify. The whole thing was fucked. So yeah, like I'm not as hyped for this ladder match as I could have been because if you would have had the Creed Bros and if you would have found some way to get Imperium in here, I understand Awesome Truth being in here because they beat into Share. That makes perfect sense. In fact, they're the most sensible team given the whole story here of the champions being Priest and Finn. Um, yeah, and like I just feel like the booking of this has been pretty haphazard, and I am so glad that you brought this up because DIY just has no heat behind them. There's just no momentum to me. NXT was lightning in a bottle, and I don't even necessarily think you couldn't replicate it again with them, but I just think you're doing it. God, it just feels so awful. And really, if you want to salvage it, when this team loses at WrestleMania, which at least I hope they will, um, Have Ciampa turn on him before the draft, and they go on different shows, and you can build up them being on the same show again or something. While we're speaking of the way, we might as well stay on this. What do you think about the new Candice LeRae? You have anything to say about
Yeah,
this?
that's been a storyline that's been kind of intriguing me lately. I was not expecting to see a heel Candice LeRae on the main roster, especially in a situation where Indy is not going along with it. Indy is like not down to be with her on this. It's really interesting to me.
Oh, I kind of love Indy's energy right now, Loki, because she's just like, Mom, why?
Yeah, that really is what it is. It's like that sense of betrayal almost of like, wait, but Candace, I thought we had morals.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what though? To be honest, Kaden and Katana, this is one time where Candace was a bit malevolent, where I'm like, I'll allow it, because she just went right after what was it, Katana's leg, and I'm like, man, sucks for you.
It was
Uh,
Katana, by the way, yes.
Look at my memory. Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Look,
Way to
I'll
be
admit.
fantastic, King.
Oh, thank you, King. Look, I'll admit because I'm a closeted sociopath. Well, I'm not so closeted when I crow about it every show, but I cackled a little bit at this. I'm like, you had it coming. So good for Candace. Uh, I loved because here's the thing. We didn't even really touch on this last week, mainly because I didn't want to, because I'm like, it's pretty lowbrow. But the stuff she did with Maxine, you know what the best thing to come out of it was? Was Christian tweeting about it and just tweeting that everybody wants to be him. And I'm like, true, true. That is, no argument there.
I mean,
But
I know I do.
yes, yes. See, I'm always happy when we can just own that part of ourselves. But like, I'll give the writers of Candace credit. They're actually giving her evolution. And they're like giving her at least something. And like the motivation is, I'm tired of losing, which this all happened after they lost in Perth for the women's tag titles. So like, if we're just looking at it very logically and very simplistically, it makes sense. I actually am surprised that Indy's the one with the reservations, because you thought she would be the one that's more heated, because that was a tag title match in her home country of Australia. So, like, you'd think Indy would be like, oh man, I've just lost in front of my people, my family, my blood family. Sorry, mom. Like, let's mess them up. But no, it's Candace taking the charge. And again, I agree with you. That is an interesting dynamic. So I'm actually a bit interested in that. Foster asking, we're never getting Dexter back, are we? Dude, I don't know what they're doing with him, if he's injured or what the hell is going on. I've always liked Dexter. I feel like that's like a bigger whiff from WWE that I just really don't get, but it's
We
happening,
should just
unfortunately.
reunite the way, and I guess Champa can be there too because DIY probably isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And we can just reunite the entire way, plus Champa to be with Johnny Bitchcakes as a friend. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do the way, but swap out Theory for Champa.
Yeah.
I mean, is Champa really even a downgrade from Theory?
No, no, God, no.
So yeah, we'll just do it with Champa instead of Theory, but then Dexter gets to be a part of it too.
Yes. Um, as far as stuff to actually talk about, because I'm going through the recap report, I already mentioned Awesome Truth being in this show. Really not much to talk about there. What? Okay, I need to get your thoughts on this because, I've always found your brain to be very sexy with its takes. What did you think about Sammy, Chad, and Gunther? How they kind of did all that. Did you
I
like?
remember there was a contract signing with Sammy and Gunther, but I don't remember Chad.
Oh, okay. See, I thought you might say something like this when you didn't answer right away, so let me just kind of jumpstart it for you.
Because I
Um,
remember backstage Chad telling Sammy, "You can't beat Gunther," and then I remember the contract signing between Sammy and Gunther, but I don't remember anything Chad did after that.
well, then you remember like the biggest stuff, but they did have one follow-up segment like after the contract signing where it's like, why? Why do you think I can't beat Gunther anymore? Or less because this is what he does. Like he gets in your head and he gets the mental advantage. And I think he more or less like implied that like you're already giving it to him. And if you don't fully believe that you can beat Gunther, it's it's just not going to happen. So first of all, because you did see the big thing of Gable just being like, you can't beat Gunther. I just want your thoughts on the whole thing, really. So just talk about the segment however you want to
I
talk
think
about
I
it.
was actually in the Discord call while this happened, and I gave an interesting thought of like, it kind of reminds me of I think it was in like late November, maybe early December. And John, this might go over your head, and I'm sorry if it does, but this is college football stuff. Basically, when they selected the playoff teams. So, to try and explain this in a way that somebody who doesn't follow college football at all would understand, there was an undefeated team this year in one of the most highly renowned conferences in college football. But the most important player on their team got injured one game before the playoffs or two games before the playoffs, something like that. And they did win their last two games without that player, but they did not win in very dominant fashion, and they did not beat very like really crazy good teams or anything like that. And so what the playoff committee did was, rather than putting this undefeated team that unquestionably, quote unquote, earned a playoff selection, rather than putting them into the playoffs, they went a little bit more like creatively liberal and said, we're going to put the four teams that we think are the four best teams in the country right now into the playoffs. And this team that went undefeated in a really good conference was left out of the playoffs. And it caused a really big controversy, and it pissed a lot of people off. And it feels like Chad wants Sammy to be excluded from the Intercontinental title because he thinks he can't beat Gunther the same way that this college football team got excluded from the playoffs because the committee felt like they wouldn't stand a chance against these other four teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And oh man, see, it's difficult for me. I God, I don't even know where to get my thoughts with this, honestly. Because I love Sammy. I do. Like, it's been such a story between Sammy and I because I know back in NXT, especially when I was, in my rebellious fucking try hard evil phase, or I'm like, no, fuck Sammy. Kevin's the one for me, and Kevin has always been the one for me. I love him so dearly. But Sammy really had to work specifically as a babyface to get me behind him because I still think the best work he's done has been conspiracy theorist. Although I will say, Sammy Uso and like everything that came from that really was transcendent at times. I just still have a soft spot for the conspiracy gimmick. But I've really grown to love him now. He is incredible at what he does, great in the ring, knows how to sell. Like, god damn, is that a lost art? And that's so perplexing to me because it's pro wrestling. I feel like selling is 101 shit. And obviously there are different levels to selling, and that's what separates the good from the great. I would say Sammy is great, but it should be a basic foundation for everybody that just is not. His promos are fire. He's great. He really, and you've said it a few times, like he's the Mick Foley of this generation. Like he's just that everyman, a real everyman, it feels like. Plus he has amazing takes. I still haven't forgiven wrestling fans for bullying him to delete two tweets that were pretty much saying, get over this Cody stuff. There are real things happening in the world, including a genocide in Gaza. Like
Yeah.
maybe put some of your energy towards that. And they
Yeah.
bullied him online to delete it. So fuck the IWC. I,
Uh,
I hate it honestly with a passion some days, and that was one of those days. Gunther, God, I mean, how many times can we come on here and praise him? Like, he's amazing. For as much as I love Roman, this dude is the Bruno Sammartino of his time right now because like he's doing it, and like he's doing the title defenses and he's racking them up. And if Bruno isn't the best example, he's just the early long reigning champions that actually had regular defenses. This dude is nuts. Like I love Gunther to death. Anybody that would tell me that he shouldn't be world champion or they don't buy him as a world champion, I understand all opinions are valid and I respect it. I just vehemently disagree with it. Just with every ounce of my being. This dude is ready for prime time anytime. So you've got the right elements. It just came at a wrong time when people wanted Chad. And that's why I think your college football example, and I thank you for walking us through it, mainly me, I'm ignorant about that stuff, is so apt because, like, yeah, everybody wanted Chad, and Chad looked like the guy. And now I don't even know what this means for Alpha Academy because Alpha Academy really has not been cooking at all. Tozawa and Otis lost their shot at the main roster tag titles. They are going to try and beat the Wolf Dogs, but I don't think that's happening either. So they're going to do this little mini story where, like, Alpha Academy just has no presence at Mania. And it just makes me increasingly worried that you might be right about Chad going heel. And I cannot stress enough how much I hate that idea. Hate it so
Wait,
goddamn
what
much.
idea
Like,
is it that you hate specifically?
Chad being heel. I just really don't
Oh,
like that idea
see, I
right
was
now.
wondering if maybe this could lead to a triple threat.
Dude, I guess. I'll tell you why I'm more pessimistic about that than ever, because I actually liked what somebody had said before the contract signing happened, where they're like, why do I feel like Chad Gable is going to be the Shawn Michaels to Sammy's Benoit? And he's going to take Sammy out just to get himself in the match. And then, maybe they'll even like run back their gauntlet match is like a proper one-on-one match and whatever. And when Gable didn't interrupt it and the paper was just signed, I'm like, no, they're keeping it to a one-on-one match. So I don't think a triple threat is happening. I wish it would at this point. At this point, I'll take anything. I really think it's mad disrespect. Again, word of the day is disrespectful. Mad disrespectful to Gable to be left off Mania when I feel like he's done really solid work this year, especially against bigger guys.
Yeah.
He had that great series of matches with Ivar. He obviously had the great match with Gunther, which he's just never forgotten about in character. And he's just not going to be on main seemingly right now. We've still got time, but I'm like, man, what the hell? Um, and yeah, I'm glad that Javaris is with me on this because I think the crowd really likes Gable. He's believable. He's intense. Like he is really that throwback to those ruthless aggression era baby faces that like can wrestle and like wrestling is their craft and they just want to do it. But the thing is, he's got like the personality to boot too. Like he's got that charisma. So it's not just pure wrestling for them. He can talk. And I like that he told Sammy to his face, like, you can't beat Gunther. It did come off a bit heelish to me, but at the same time, if we can give Bianca grace for being rightfully angry, Chad's still licking his wounds, man. In his mind, as a character, this was his shot.
Yeah.
This was his shot, and it just didn't come together. But to bring things back into focus about Sammy and Gunther, do you have any specific thoughts about the contract signing and the promo between these two, where Gunther just seems so confident, and Sammy had to convince Gunther that like he's ready to face him? Did you think that was weird? Did you
Was he
like it?
really
Like,
convincing Gunther though, or was he convincing himself?
and it seemed like he was convincing himself. That does seem to be the story. Yeah. And I'm sorry, there's only so many times, Javaris, that I could say I agree with you because he's also saying, why couldn't Sammy be the one to beat Roman? It's also weird that Sammy is trying to convince himself because, like, he didn't have to. Well, actually, to be fair, I was about to make an error. He did have to convince himself, too, that he could beat Roman because, like, he was saying, like, you're going down, but he even had that whole segment with Cody where it's like, I don't know. And, like, I think he even asked him, do you think I could beat Roman? And he did that whole thing. So Sammy, when he goes against bigger opponents, maybe this is just part of his babyface character. He does have that self doubt, and that is consistent. But I was a bit surprised here. I'm like, you won the gauntlet. You know what you're up against. Like, I don't know, you beat Ivar, which I mean, Gunther's on a whole different level. Let's be real. But I'm just surprised he has this kind of doubt. Gunther, though, the drip on this dude. I love the suit. I love that he was smiling and laughing. I love that this dude has gotten comfortable with the Intercontinental title, like it's part of his skin.
You know what though? That it's really cool, but it also makes me want to see someone say maybe a Braun Breaker, but obviously he's not even on the right brand anymore now. But it
Yes.
makes me want to see someone make him uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Again, complete agreement. I think
I
that's the
feel
beauty
like
of
he's
it, right?
probably going to
Yeah.
retain at Mania. I don't think Sammy's beating him at Mania. If Gable gets added to the match at Mania, I would pick Gable to win that match, probably pinning Sammy, ironically enough.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's just a one-on-one Gunther and Sammy, I think Gunther retains, which is honestly unfortunate because I hope that he loses the IC title before SummerSlam because I want him to squash Cody for the Universal title at SummerSlam. So I'm planning out way too far ahead. I know. I'm sorry. But
No, 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 bro, please, with how I fly away on here.
right.
No, I don't even think you're planning
No,
too
but
far.
yeah,
You
so
see,
like
yeah.
I really though I really want I think that Sammy will make him uncomfortable during the match. Like he'll give him moments of like, oh shit, I didn't expect him to be this much of a challenge. What the hell kind of thing. But like he's still gonna beat his ass and he's still gonna win the match, you know?
Yeah. It's just it's really an unenviable position for Sammy to be in because again, if Booker T was telling the truth, even Sammy, like real life Sammy, is just thinking like, man, I thought these fans would be behind me, and it's like, dude, you got to understand, we wanted you as world champion. I love Drew
Well,
to
plus they
death.
wanted Chad to be the one, like, you want to talk about Cody finishing his story. We wanted Chad to finish his story of avenging his crying daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And WWE pulled a Brock Lesnar because he wasn't in the company at the time, although apparently he's
I
been
don't give
brought
a
back into the
shit
fold.
about your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Um, And yeah, like we wanted different things for Sammy and we wanted different things for Chad, and they were just so out of alignment. And I feel bad for both guys.
Yeah.
I just what is going on over there? Um, so yeah. Now I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I skipped through like a lot of stuff just because, fuck the people that I skipped over. I don't even really have much to say at this point about Seth and Drew, although I will say I did like Seth's promo where he kind of owned being a spotlight junkie and just talking about like, what performing and stuff like that means to him. But I love Drew's new shirt about like his road to WrestleMania, and he's got the checklist on the back of like injure CM Punk, win the chamber, all that stuff. Like Drew has been him and the people he's working with to make the merch and everything else so good. Oh my god, I'm really really nervous that Seth is going to retain. And I'm like, no, please, please. I hope they reached a deal with Drew and they slap that title on him because if you're not going to make Sami Zayn World Heavyweight Champion, which honestly still leaves me kind of gobsmacked. This man needs to be champion. And honestly, that's why I want Sammy to lose to Gunther, because I want Sammy and Drew to still be on the same show and Sammy to be the one to ultimately beat Drew because he hasn't beaten him in a one-on-one match yet. And especially the last time that they faced and Drew won in that conspicuous manner with like a variation on the legal low blow. Like let these two cook and let them cook for the world title. So Drew needs to win his match, Sammy needs to lose his, and then they need to meet back up. I think that'd be a great SummerSlam match for Drew. Drew versus Sammy for the world title. Give it to me. Especially if Gunther is like, again, we don't know what's going to happen with Gunther because honestly, if he goes to where Cody is and Cody wins the title, God, I already told you, I think Cody owes it to him. He's eliminated him from the Rumble 2 years in a row. Let him beat your ass. Like, be gracious for once. God damn. So yeah, there are a lot of things that I want. They're probably going to come into violent conflict, but yeah, I just really see Drew as world champion. I want it to happen so bad. Because he's just been doing such great work. But yeah, this promo was great. Do you have anything you want to say about this promo?
No, I don't think so. No.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And again, I already said that I skipped Last Woman Standing. So yeah, honestly for me, not much to really talk about from this Raw. Like it was fine, but again, tag title tournament stuff I've already kind of said like who's qualified on the Raw side. I wasn't going to talk about Cody's promo. You should see the wall of text that promo got as far as a recap, which means he must have talked for a long time and it was like just to set up Friday, which we know Friday was a dud, so no point. So yeah, I think we can move on to NXT. I feel like we're moving at a good pace today. I really like that.
Yeah,
So
we've only been live for an hour.
I know. Um, and yeah, so NXT. Let's see. What would I like to talk about first? Oh well, just I guess as one thing, I love Obafemi still. Like, oh my god,
Oh my
this dude.
god, he is fantastic.
Dude, I read a report recently that internally they're really high on him, and I read that as, oh, so you're being correct. That's a relief. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
your
you
job,
would
right?
fucking hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like, it's amazing how young he is and how much he's already put together. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming.
Yeah.
Keep, saying what we already know. Um, this dude. See, now I can be happy for. I feel like I've been such a grumpus talking about Raw and SmackDown, but it's fitting that NXT kind of positions itself as like the brand of the future because if this is
Yeah.
the future, WWE is about to get great in a major way.
It's a
Like
bright one.
exactly, exactly. Um, he checks every box. I say it every week. He checks every box. His drip is out of this world. I love his voice. I don't even know if it's becoming a bit problematic for me to keep saying that every week. But given that talking is a big part of this business, I could listen to this dude talk for hours about himself. Like I'm me. I'm like, no, let me talk about myself. And Obafemi's like, that's not happening. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I talked out of turn. I'm apologizing to him. I talked out of turn,
Holy
Oba. I'm
shit.
sorry.
Wow.
What was that?
I said, holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, I know. If this dude said in that voice, like Ashton, let's make a chart together, you would explode. You'd be like, oh my God, life is happening to me at last. This dude, just perfection, just absolute perfection. I love this dude so much. Um, and I'll tell you, you know that a guy has potential to be great when he's 25, got that title so quickly. And that's the thing, like, he's young, he got the title so quickly, and yet he looks so relaxed with it. He looks so in control of it. I'm like, "Dude, where did you come from? Can we mass produce you in a lab or just your core in a lab so that we can have just amazing wrestler after amazing wrestler after amazing wrestler?" Just he's so good. And then, I mean, no offense to him, Briggs interrupts. And now that's a house fight I'm looking forward to. But at this point, I'm like, it's gonna be fun. But literally, I'm getting offended on Opa's behalf because I'm like, who the fuck are you? With all of the tone. Because I'm like, you're interrupting God time. Um, and he talked about what he did to Jensen, and Opafemi laughs in his face, and he's like, "Yeah, I enjoyed what I did," and I'm like, "Oh my god, you king." You have the dominance to do these things, and like any person with a conscience would have been like too far, but you chuckle and you're like, no, just right. I love how this man doubles down because he has the girth to get away with it. Fuck, fuck. God damn. Then Dijak comes out, which thank God, because Dijak deserves better things to do. And he's like, uh-uh,
Oh
this
God,
is
the
my thing right
Shaft
now.
reference.
Yeah, the chef reference. And then Dijak is like, first of all, I'm white. That was some boondock shit in the best
Dude,
way. I love
apparently
that.
that wasn't even a scripted line. Apparently that was improv by Dijak.
Yeah. And you know what? Good improv too.
I
Yeah.
love the way he pulled his sleeve up to show his skin. In case you haven't noticed, I'm white.
God damn it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. So
Bro,
uh,
Briggs feels like such a third wheel. I just want Dijak versus Femi one on one.
I love that Dijak, like, obviously he didn't go as far as he could have with it, but he just thought that that reference was so stupid, and I think he's so fed up with everyone's shit. I love that he clapped back, dude.
He
He's like,
could have
look,
called
I
him
just,
Neo. He was wearing a fucking trench coat. Call him Neo Briggs. Good lord.
yeah,
How out of
like,
touch do you have to be?
I love that Dijak just heard that line and he was like, I just got out of a feud with Joe Gacy. I am not putting up with this shit. like,
So
no,
true though. It's so true.
no, fuck you, dude. But no, apparently they're doing a little mini tournament to determine who's going to face Femi at Stand and Deliver. Because I know Duke Hudson is getting like a match, and Briggs and Dijak are getting matches. Dijak might even be facing Duke. I don't know. I like Duke Hudson. It's good that he's getting involved in this, but like, it would feel a bit forced if he would win it. That's why he's not going to win it. Um, and so, yeah, I wanted to open with that just because I mean, God, I was in such a sour mood, but literally even talking about Oba puts me in a better mood. That's how good this
He
dude is.
is really a highlight every single week. You know who else on NXT is a highlight every single week is Lash Legend.
All right, dude,
I feel
talk
like you
about it.
squeed so loudly that you cut out. Like,
Yeah.
did you squee there? Because
I
it
did
sounded
squee.
like
I
you kind
yes,
of
I
yeah
did.
yeah.
Damn right I did.
Oh my god, yeah. Lash has been so good. I love her, and I know Javaris might actually just be in love with her, and frankly, I don't blame him.
Yeah. Dude, she has got such a charisma about it really, like, honestly, this whole stuff that she's done with Trick really makes me wonder how the crowd would receive her as a babyface. Because, like,
Oh,
if you've already got Javaris and people like
gangbusters,
calling
brother.
I have to agree because I was even gonna say if you already have people like Javaris and stuff calling her mama and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like there is a baby face there in Lash Legend that I think could really take off.
Oh
But
yeah.
I don't want to rush anything. It's just, me thinking about it. Um, but yeah, she was great. She's like, "Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on him again." Either it's like, "Whoa, whoa, Lash, what the hell?" And she's like, I'm sorry." Like, so yeah, she's clearly flustered because Trick Williams got that Riz game going. But yeah,
It's funny
she,
too because like Jakara just does not participate at all. She's not interested at all because like she's the only other woman in the group, and you'd think like Trick would have both the women swooning, but no, it is literally just Lash. Jakara's just like, girl, I don't know what you see in here. It's like,
yeah,
she's not into it. She's not interested in Trick at all.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I love that
Uh,
Flash is, and it's kind of created this weird dynamic. Although it did seemingly kind of resolve itself during the Trick Dar matchup, which I guess since we mentioned Lash, we'll just like cover that right away. Really solid match. I gotta say, it was
yeah.
good to see Dar actually wrestle a bell to bell match, like outside of
Yes. Dude, I
yeah.
fucking hate the British rounds garbage.
Yeah, because Dar, you actually see how great of a technical wrestler he actually is when you get to see it in completion. Again, bell to bell,
Yep.
not these rounds like they're doing with the Heritage Cup. Um, and Trick, man, God, is he white hot right now? People are really in him. I love the offense. Like you can even tell that he's got even kind of a top guy move set because he's got that really solidified sequence of moves that he does. And it's like, yeah, this dude's going for broke. It's like I don't want to just be the world champion. I want to be the guy on the covers. I want to be the guy doing the media interviews.
Yep.
Like you could tell that Trick has that energy about him. He
He
has the
wants to be
backstory.
the tribal chief.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, if Roman's still competing by the time that they would want to do a Trick Roman matchup, I'd be interested in that, honestly. Yeah, like he's already got the story because he started out as one of Apollo's soldiers. Then he was Carmelo's hype man. Like he's got the story. Trick. Yeah, I mean another guy on NXT checking every box, and both him and Oba are black men. I love that too because I really like not to get too political about it or whatever, but I really have to say, when I look at these two, it makes me think we are so close to entering a completely new territory in WWE. Because, like, I think, and I'll give credit to this person too. Oddly enough, I'll give credit to Bianca because I think Bianca was really like a big mainstream success,
Yeah.
and she really like did a lot. And to be fair, even though I'm not as fond of her as I used to be, Sasha too. I think the progression is Sasha, Bianca, and now these two for the men's side are going to be fucking it. Like I really think we're getting ready to see an exciting era in WWE where, representation, it's not just representation, they're taking over. And you've got two big shots to do it with Oba and Trick,
Yep.
and it's a beautiful, beautiful time.
Yep.
Um, like, yeah, I am really, really excited.
Kind of funny
So
because Super Blue even kind of pointed to it. We wanted Bianca and Montez to be like an on-screen power couple for the longest
yes,
time, and I know I even said like I want them to be like a heel power couple where they're coming out wearing like name brand shit, rocking the sunglasses. Bianca has her like homemade gear and stuff that she makes for herself, and it looks cool as hell. And Montez always looks good in a suit and stuff like that, and they look super just amazing, and they're cocky, but it's because they fucking earned the right, and they just on top of the world. And we never got that, and we may never get that. But I
yeah,
think we might get a Trick Lash babyface power couple at one point
that would be cool. That would be cool.
because they are
Um,
also a real life couple. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that. Look at those two. I'm loving what's happening. Like, God, there is stuff to be optimistic about, guys. There really is. For as down as I was for good parts of mainly SmackDown, but also a little bit of Raw.
It's
I
funny
don't
because I
know.
enjoyed SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I guess I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Because I'm like, um, but yeah, no, Trick ultimately wins with the trick shot, and then Mello was dressed as one of his security, so he kind of lays Trick out. I
Dude,
thought it was cool.
we were in a call, and when the four security dudes got up on the apron and Mello wasn't there, I was like, Trick, attack the short one. He's the short one. Go after the short one.
I was just like, he's not gonna gain height. Now's your chance.
No, I knew that he was. I just was like, Trick, obviously you're not going to hire someone who's 5'6" to play a bodyguard. Go after the short one. It's Mello.
Been loving all of your takes about height recently. I feel like it's become a thing for you on here. I just wonder where like what the climax is because I feel like there's like a big ultimate take there about height, but we're building to it. We're building to it slowly, inch by inch, apparently. Uh,
Oh, see what you did
so
there.
okay, I got to talk about this too. This is the one thing that I don't want to say I'm down on because that'd be hyperbolic, but I'm not. I feel like I'm least anticipating D'Angelo Dragunov for Stand and Deliver. Cause like
Dude, I
I
know. It's funny because I keep saying, and I think was it you or Javaris? I don't remember who first said it, but somebody, I think it might have been Javaris who first said, I think it was Javaris actually, yeah, who initially said that he wants Trick Mello to be unsanctioned so that that can main event the show and go on after the world title. I
Actually,
think
I said that.
it
Javaris
was,
might have said that. I don't want to deny that Javaris said that, but I know for a fact I also said it.
dude, that
Yeah,
is the absolute best possible outcome because you are absolutely right. D'Angelo is a solid guy and he's got charisma and he does some things well. And I'm not going to praise Ilya at all like I just did with D'Angelo. I think he sucks. But
yeah.
this world title match does not feel takeover main event worthy to me at all.
No, it doesn't. Like, I really believe that D'Angelo is trying, but again, I want to keep the ire where it should be, and that's the writing because they're just like actors or actresses. They take what they're given unless they have creative control. In which case, looking at you, Cody, I'm definitely
Chodius.
gonna. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely going to rake you over the hot coals. And yeah, George even said we said it around the same time. I thought so because I know for a fact I said it on here last week about it being unsanctioned, but I figured you probably had a similar thought, Javaris. Um, and that I like what Tony's doing, but if I'm writing this, I want this group. But see, I guess they don't want Tony to be heel, but I'm like, why? He's a mobster.
See,
I've
yeah,
never
it's
known a
weird though because like does that mean that like if Tony if they don't want Tony to be heel, that would imply that they want him to be more face. Which does that mean that Ilya is supposed to be heelish for here? For like I'm not sure where they're going.
I'm not and dude, like again, this is just me being me, right? And I guess that's what you guys come here
You
for.
being
So
you is the best version of you.
well, you know what? Stop making me blush over here, sir, or else we're gonna have to hug it out live on air.
I'll do
But
it. I'll
no,
fucking
like
do it.
you wow. You know that I love mob shit. And like I don't know how much everybody here knows, so just a quick reprisal, especially for people that are new to the podcast. I grew up on this shit. I watched mainly. Here's the thing. I want to be clear. I watched maybe the first two parts of The Godfather. Did not watch part three. But my big formative moments in loving mob stuff was Scarface and Goodfellas. Love both of those movies. But you tell me, now I'm sure it exists because I'm sure there's a musical version or a comedy version or a spoof version. But when you're talking about the mob canon, right? You tell me a babyface mobster. Like, just do the damn thing. Like, and like, I don't know. Childhood me is kind of offended because they're kind of doing like a sanitized version of it, which I get it. It's NXT, it's a kids program. But like, didn't you try and drown Pretty Deadly? And then they did that amazing
What?
segment
They
where
did
like
drown pretty deadly, and then it had to be retconned afterwards.
yeah, where they lived and they gave like, that life support and it's like, "Yes, boy." But no, you should be like in the ring, especially because we saw Mello do kind of a vicious beat down to Ilya too when he thought he was getting the title shot. Go after his knee or something, literally bust his kneecaps. Maybe break hey, if we're doing home invasions, if home invasions are on the table, do like a horse's head in the bed, but do some kind of a PG version that you feel like you could get away with. And Ilya's like, what the? You were in my house? Like, go all the way with it. These are mobsters. Do mobster shit. Like, it's amazing. Dude, you know what it is? You know what it is for me? And this is where I need to be better. And I need to, and I'm going to say it, I need to suck less because I
Oh,
am so, no, no,
how dare you say that about yourself, mister?
because I just go way off the reservation here because you know what this is for me? This is Solomon Crow all over again. Because you and I looked at this gimmick and we're like, "Oh my god, the possibilities are endless with this, especially in this day and age where media is so vulnerable and hacking and all this stuff." And they did nothing because of course they didn't because it's a wrestling company and like they're not Lucha Underground. And that's what I need to say here. This is not Lucha Underground because I'm like they're mobsters. They even kind of implied with the whole Chase U stuff that they were getting their fingers like in a lot of stuff. If you want to run NXT, show me what the fuck that means. Like, I would go over and I'd be like, but I know it wouldn't make storyline sense. I'm just saying hypothetically. Hypothetically, in a universe, say where maybe they even helped Oba get that contract to be North American champion, knocking on the door. Hey, Oba, Ilya's been giving us a little bit of a problem. And I know you've been real grateful for that hardware we helped you get. So tonight we're coming to collect.
See, that's the problem with Tony D and that family is that they don't collect favors enough.
They don't. That there needs to, and I'm going to use this word here because it is in the mobster lexicon. There needs to be more extortion from the family.
Yes.
100%. There needs to be more extortion. Um, and Yeah, like, Foster, I don't wanna make it seem like I'm ignoring you in the chat. I'm still undecided about what Tony D is gonna do, which we're reacting to Stand and Deliver, so I guess I'm gonna have to make a decision even if it's before the bell rings, but I still don't know how it can go. I'm just focusing more on the storytelling right now. That's what I'm so fixated on. As far as the outcome, look, I hope you're right. I will say this, I hope you're right about them turning heel. I personally think that needs to happen. And again, they're mobsters. I'm sorry, I can't believe a babyface mobster unless we're going back to the 80s and like he's gonna like initiate kids into the family, like in the audience with like sunglasses or some shit. That's gonna be some hokey shit. I don't want hokey shit. I want Goodfellas on NXT. I want extortion. I want them like hell. They did kind of do a little bit of that last week when they put Ilya in the trunk, but I wouldn't have let him out of the trunk. I would have been like, well, Ilya, if you're such a great
Too
champion,
nice.
yeah,
The
it's too
mobsters in
nice.
NXT are too goddamn nice.
And that's the thing. He's talking about, oh, I respect you, and it's a respect thing right now. But if you cross that line, you know what? You know what? If we're already going to be a bit hokey with this, I hope they cross the line with Ilya being like, oh, Tony, I thought we could have a sit down at Olive Garden. And like, that's just it for like, I'm Aaron, are you a stunada taking me to Olive Garden? And, it's just the whole thing. But no,
Ilya's just like, but what's wrong, Tony? I thought this was the place of your people.
Uh, yes. And then Tony's like, you know what? You know what? This writing's ass. Fuck this. We're almost at the level of being the equivalent level of ass to the DIY theme, which sucks. Fuck you, DIY. Jesus
Wow,
Christ.
DIY catching strays.
As they should, because they're already catching a plane to Mania they didn't deserve.
Ew.
But yeah, like I want to be into this. I want to be into this so bad because again, childhood me is like, oh my god, mobsters, cool. You knew I had problems even back then. But like, no, we're not doing it. We're like, yeah, fuck, fuck. And so by the way, Ilya is facing Stacks next week. That should be an interesting matchup. But like, yeah, I'll tell you the most interesting player in this whole thing to me isn't even Tony D right now. It's Luca. I'm actually
I
more
like
interested in
Luca.
him.
He's cool.
Yeah, Luca. I'm like, what are you
I'm
packing, my
never gonna
guy?
be more of a fan of anyone in the family than I am of Adriana Rizzo, though. She's cool as hell.
Yeah, Rizzo is. I'm telling you, man. These people could turn up the heat. This could really be something fun. But I'm just like,
Nobody
but
takes care of Biz better than her is.
yeah, dude, if she was doing some of the extortion, I would pop. Just come in with a baseball bat and be like, "We told you to help with the match last week. It was against our principle, your principles. You only are able to have principles because of the family." Bam, baseball bat. Like, fuck these people up. God, you have that NXT Anonymous account that's like filming private moments and filmed one between a fucking Von Wagner and Robert Stone. Robert Stone, I still believe, is going to go heel, even if he doesn't join Lexus King like I originally predicted because I hate myself. And I
Thank
still am
you
offering
for
those.
being over that prediction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm still offering hugs though, Foster, if this whole thing goes south, because it's definitely looking that way. But you have NXT Anonymous. Imagine if the family got control of that account or got control of the person running that account, and they're like, "Hey, listen,
Ooh.
you do espionage, right? So we need you to keep tabs on these people for us." And they give them a
We
list.
need to get some dirt on the folks in the NXT locker room.
Yeah, oh, do mobster things. God damn it, I'm giddy right now because I'm like, our version of the family is so much better. Um,
We'll make
but
sure to pay you handsomely.
yeah, dude, that accent. Oh, what are you doing later? But no, no, I got to give credit to this next thing here. I really am digging no quarter catch crew to the point where I was disappointed when Charlie Dempsey lost his matchup, and it was Miles Bourne. It was Miles Bourne he was teaming with for the NXT Tag Title Tournament where
Yeah.
they lost to Axiom and ew. But speaking of these guys, the only reason I even broached this was because Drew Gulak, he's so good. Drew Gulak's one of those guys that like you could very easily forget how good he is because he doesn't. Oh, excuse me, there. He doesn't wrestle that often, but when he does, you're like, man, what a magnificent technical wrestler,
He really is, yeah.
bro. I don't want to speak for you or anyone here because I mean, as we just saw with that accent, you're more than capable and sexy enough to speak for yourself. But
Whoa!
I Yeah, well, you
Who's
know what's happening.
blushing now?
Yeah. But, I honestly, bro, for me personally, I thought this was the best that I've seen Riley Osborne. This is my favorite match of his since
Yeah.
I've been, like, watching
Well,
him
I
all
mean,
on NXT.
takes two to tango, and he had one hell of a dance partner.
Yeah, and that I thank you for bringing it back to Gulak where it belongs because this dude really shined. And like when you've got workers the level of him, and I am liking how Charlie Dempsey's developing, but like this is why I like the catch clause because you get to really see these guys, and again that includes Gulak, and I'm never gonna say no to seeing Gulak. This was really fun. Uh this whole Thea JC story, I think they're finally didn't Ava give Thea a match with JC next week? Like that's happening. I thought.
I was not aware of that. You might be right though. I don't know.
I believe there was a backstage interview because that was the same segment where she told Duke that you're gonna have a chance to compete for the North American title. And he's like, "Oh, MVP and North American champion. That sounds great." And I'm like, Duke,
Oh, I saw that
honestly,
part. I did see that segment. Yeah.
oh, it's Thea versus JC's friend, whatever. Jasmine, I think, whatever.
Jasmine Nix.
Jasmine Nix. Um, because yeah, they screw Riley and a really clever finish, I gotta say. So like Riley gets the first fall with the shooting star pretty quickly. Drew gets right back though because he catches Riley in a pin. And then they're going back and forth. They're doing great stuff. And then it seems like Riley was going to get like a big superplex or whatever. But I believe it might have been Jasmine or it might have been JC. One of them grabbed Riley's foot. It shifted the momentum so that Drew landed on top of him and got the pin. I will give credit to this. I thought that was a good
It
finish.
was
That
a
was a strong
really
finish.
clever finish. I
Yeah.
I actually it kind of confused me until I saw the replay
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Me too. Me too. And then when I saw it
because I
again,
was like, wait, I don't understand how JC had anything to do with the finish here, and it turned out she was merely the distraction. The real problem was Nix.
I it's not going to win. At least I should say I hope it's not going to win because we still have so much of the year left. But it was one of those finishes where like we do have a finish of the year category, and just from an execution standpoint, I'm like, this probably deserves a nod because this came off so clean to the point again where you and I needed to see it on the replay, and I'm like, yeah, kudos to everybody involved.
Yeah,
So no quarter catch crew had kind of a mixed bag of a night, but they kept the Heritage Cup, which is the important thing.
yeah.
But God, I wish they were like still in the running, but it doesn't matter though, because I really believe Gallows and Anderson, which I skipped that match. When I talk about things that I skipped, I knew they were beating Hank and Tank. I do like Hank and Tank, but not enough to suffer through a Gallows and Anderson matchup in 2024.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
definitely officially at the point that I didn't give a fuck about either one of these teams.
I really do not blame you at all. Like at all. I totally get that. Let me see. So yeah, what started NXT, which is funny that we're talking about it now. Roxanne beat Tatum.
Yeah,
And
with Pop
afterwards, she's
Rocks.
with Pop
It
Rocks and then
felt
the
like a
crossface.
short match too, honestly. Like felt like she
Yeah,
made kind of quick work of her.
yeah,
Which I mean, I'm not even complaining. That's like it would make sense because Tatum has never really been in like world title contendership conversations, and Roxanne is a former champion who never lost her title and has been pretty dominant even since returning from injury.
yes, yeah. So the Pop Rocks and the crossface combination.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, that's right. She did. Thank you for correcting me because I actually forgot the heel shit where she hits Pop Rocks. Because I even remember thinking like she hit Pop Rocks and I was like, oh damn, that was quick. She won already. And then she's like, no, 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 no. I'm not winning with a pin. I'm getting a submission.
yeah, yeah.
That was great. I loved
I
that.
yeah, I'm loving her stuff. I almost wish that she wasn't like an out and out heel because I really just love this aggressive, entitled, really good wrestler type thing she had going on. But now she's just completely crossed over where it's like all of you suck, and all I want is the title. I mean, she gets on the mic and she's like, Ava, come out here and do what you should have done last week. But then Lyra
Bitch.
comes out. Wait, what was that?
I was just adding flourish to the promo. I said, bitch.
You know what? I'm glad I let you do it again though, because who would want to miss that? I know I didn't. Um, so yeah, Lyra comes out, arm wrestling. So way to sell it, Lyra. Again, I wish there was more of that. Um, and it doesn't go well. Tatum tries to get involved. That makes things worse for Lyra. Seems like
Tatum.
a little bit of a little bit of a theme there. And so Roxanne stands tall. She holds the title up. And yeah, they are getting a match at Stand and Deliver. You know, I'm conflicted about this too because first of all, I'm hyped for it. I'm not conflicted about the match itself. What I'm conflicted about is I was looking forward to just a straight up wrestling match because I wanted that to be Vengeance Day. But after she broke her arm, can we just do a regular match? Like, I just, again, when you take things to a certain personal level, I'm like, and you're going to do a
Hell, this
lockup.
could be an unsanctioned match too. You could have this semi main and Trick Mellow main, and then
Yeah,
Tony and Ilya can be third from last.
it feels like a third from last program.
It
Like, you're not
does.
even
That's what
wrong.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, honestly, at this point, bro, depending on who Oba's challenger is, they might even slide further down because Oba
Dude,
as a
I know,
champion.
right? Dude, if we
Yeah.
if we get Oba versus Briggs, oh my, or I mean Oba versus Dijak, oh my god,
Yeah, dude. Dude.
that is
Yes.
the one.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck you, Codius. God, I hate him so much. Um, so
Oh
yeah, I
wow,
think that's
he's
everything.
co-opted it. Fuck.
Beg pardon?
I said, oh wow, he's co-opted it. Fuck.
Dude, I know. I know. God, like fuck. I feel like I don't even really have many complete thoughts. Like, it's just pure hatred. Um, there
Yeah.
was other stuff that happened on NXT, but I think we close the book here because again, this is not a recap show. We just talk about things that are worth talking about, and yeah, I think we hit on all the things
Did you
worth
see
talking about.
Sol Ruka?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I skipped because I did, and she won. I mean, she's got a cool finish, but nothing really else stands out to her for me.
She has a good look.
Um,
I like her look. She's got that like Shakira look.
yeah, that's true. Oh, I guess the only other thing to talk about was the Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan, like her giving Gigi her own sash, like woman in training kind of thing. I love Ariana Grace, man. Like her like online promos and stuff have me dying. I still go back and I watch the one where she's like, I did it, where you like backed away from the phone you said on Discord.
Yeah.
And like I think the line that pops me the most is like, um, I know she didn't say it exactly like this, but she more or less said, like, I'm such a good person and I do so much charity work, and that's what makes me unique. Like just the way she said that's what makes me unique. Like I love God, she's so gone.
Do
She's
you
so
know
gone.
who she low key reminds me of?
Oh,
Chelsea.
yeah, a little dude. Imagine their first interaction in their characters.
I know. That's what I'm saying. She gives like 100% into her character, and that's part of what makes Chelsea so great.
Yes. Yes, completely agree. Um, so yeah, I think I'm ready to oh yeah, and Blair Davenport did attack Sol Ruka after. Man, Blair Davenport, I will say she's kind of in a weird place because she's not like an emphasized presence, but she still doesn't give a fuck. It's like I know I could be a better person and maybe change my ways, but no.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that because it reminded me of like the whole Candice LeRae situation. And when we were talking about that, it got me to thinking like we need a wrestling promotion that just like fully embraces meta commentary, like the full meta of pro wrestling. And literally everyone except the champion is a heel. And
Yes.
because everyone is just accepted, like if you want to win, you have to be willing to do anything it takes to win because your opponent's going to do anything it takes to win. And if you think that your morality is going to be something that you can, that will feed you at night or that will, buy you something nice that will make you happy, that's not real. You have to win this match because that's the only way that you're going to get that, the winner's bonus at the pay
Yeah.
stool at the pay window, right? And so you have to just do anything in your power to win. And the whole locker room is just ruthless cheaters, basically.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
though then like there's like a new like meme that you basically create of like every time someone new shows up and they're like smiling and happy to be there, it's a matter of like, okay, how long until it sets in? how
Yes.
long how long before they realize that they're not going to get away with fighting clean matches and they have to stoop to a certain level in order to succeed here, and then the first person that never does it and wins the title, despite having good morals, will be the biggest babyface in pro wrestling history.
Yeah. I just really I'm loving it. I think you make a great point there. Yeah, I think I'm ready to close the book on NXT and Super Bowl. I gotta say, your comedy chops, man. They just get sharper every week. He's like AEW time. No. Now is the
Oh, you don't
time.
want to talk about AEW?
I Wait, did you sincerely? I was kind of hoping we'd get out of here.
You,
Well,
you
well,
mean
not
you
get out
didn't
of here,
want to
but
talk
like,
about the 30-minute Edge Christian match that closed Dynamite?
I mean, I watched like the final 2 minutes of it, but no, I'm
Oh,
good. I'm good. Are you good? Like, I don't know if you're taking a
Mercedes
piss right
opened the
now.
show again this week. I know that.
Oh God, we're doing this. Okay. So
And well, no, I'm not trying to get into detail. I'm just kind of like glossing over stuff. And if you have anything to say about anything, chime in.
no, I did not watch anything. I'm done with
Oh,
AEW. It's
well,
like
no,
dead to
I'm
me.
more like I'm telling you what happened, and if you have thoughts on finding out what happened, you could chime in on that.
Was there any progression with her and Willow? Like,
I think there was. Yeah, there was. Yeah, because there was this whole thing where Mercedes was cutting her promo and she mentioned Willow. And then there was a thing where the lights went out, and of course it was Julia Hart and Sky Blue. And it was Julia Hart on the ramp, but then Sky Blue tried to attack Mercedes from behind. But of course, Mercedes experienced this exact same thing last week, so she was ready for it. So she grabbed Sky's foot and spun her around and hit her with the backstabber, right? And then Sky and Julia, uh, on the outside of the ring at this point, grabbed chairs, and Mercedes was staring them down. And then Statlander and Willow came to the ring with chairs to even things out and get an advantage and make sure that this beatdown didn't happen. But then Willow started winding up like she was going to hit Mercedes in the back with the chair. And then,
that you were telling me about this. I think during game night, or well, like one of our game nights.
yeah.
With
And
like
then
Rocket
like
League stuff.
Mercedes like turned around and saw Willow, and Willow like dropped the chair. She was like, oh, hi. Haha. No big deal. Didn't mean to do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was
yeah.
like a whole
Okay. Um,
thing.
yeah, yeah. I really don't. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens there. I
Okada
don't
won the
know.
Continental Crown from Eddie Kingston.
That was the right call. Yeah, just that's all I gotta say about that. Right
Also,
call. Great stuff.
bro, if I understand this correctly, the Continental Crown is the, I'm not going to say dumbest. I'm going to say worst booked thing in wrestling today. And I don't mean that because of this match. I mean that because of news that recently came out that apparently the Continental Crown champion has to enter, I don't remember the name of it, but whatever AEW's round robin tournament that they did to crown the first ever Continental Crown champion, which was Eddie. Apparently the champion has to enter that tournament every year and put the title on the line in the tournament. So if they don't win the tournament, someone else gets that title.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's really excessive to me.
I like I get that the G1 and like most round robin tournaments, the champion enters, and then if they win, they get to choose their next contender. That makes sense. But to have to defend the title in the tournament is absurd to me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. There is one match on Dynamite that I actually do want to go back and watch. Mariah May wrestled, and so I just want to watch Mariah May. It was her and Tony versus Thunder Rosa and Diana.
Yeah.
I want to watch that, but other than that, there's nothing else to say.
Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. Because I really did not want to get mired for like another 30 minutes into AEW, and I'm glad we
No, I
avoided
wanted to
that.
gloss over some stuff, talk about anything you might want to talk about, and that was about
No, thank you. Thank you, sir. No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Let's open it to Q&A. So yeah, you guys know how it goes. Any questions about this week in the world of wrestling, you can ask it. Floor is open. Oh,
Okay,
Foster starting out
before
hot.
we answer any questions, I have one more thing to say that's just disgusting.
Yeah, okay.
Julia Hart tapped Chris Statlander out on Rampage.
Ew. Like I like Julia Hart even, but Chris Statlander is on a completely different level. That should not be happening.
Yeah, so
Ew.
apparently it was a tag match. It was Julia and Sky versus Chris and Willow as the main event of Rampage. And Rampage actually took place immediately after Dynamite this week, which is why Edge Christian was allowed to go for so long because the hour after Dynamite was also AEW programming, so they could just kind of bleed over. And the main event of the show was Julia and Sky versus Chris and Willow, and the finish of the match was Statlander going for the 450 on Julia. Julia avoids it, locks in her submission Heartless, and Statlander tapped to it.
Wow. No comment, just beyond the fact that that is gross and that should not be happening.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Foster started out hot because I actually completely forgot that this tournament was happening between my power outage and everything else. I had like a lot of other stuff on my mind. Yota won the fucking New Japan Cup.
Goddamn
Wow.
right. You love to see it.
You know what, New Japan? Nice. I could be really hard on you, deservedly so in my mind, but this was the right call. Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it, Foster. I think that's amazing. And honestly, low key, I hope he wins the title. I don't know. But because I know Naito's the champion, but Yota, God, what a stud he is. Um, so let's see. Super Blue, I don't even want to answer that question. That doesn't seem like a serious question. Will LA Knight versus AJ get a chair match now? No,
It
I still
might.
think it's going to be a singles match. So,
I could see it getting a chair match. I think that would be cool. I think it would be creative. Cool way to go about it.
yeah, I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, why not, right? But yeah, I still don't see it
I
personally.
don't
I guess it's
expect it
possible.
either, but it would be cool.
Yeah. Javaris, do you think Suji usurps LIJ from Naito before going into the world title match? It's happened before. Um, just in terms of like defections and stuff. I mean, I know Evil won the New Japan Cup, right? And that's when he turned heel and like left LIJ. I don't think he'll usurp power from Naito, but he might. I don't even know if he'll leave. Maybe it'll just be a straight up match. I don't know, Javaris. I genuinely, I could see where you're coming from, but I'm uncommitted at this point in time. What do you think, Ashton? Do you think Suji's gonna like do anything, or do you think they're just gonna have the match?
I don't think it'll be before. I think if Tsuji beats Naito, that might be the thing that allows him to usurp
Okay, okay. Um, Super Blue. Who should beat Adam Copeland for the TNT title? I think Killswitch should.
him. Yeah.
Personally, because here's the thing. He had the contract that he gave to Christian to beat Edge again in the first place at that one pay-per-view. He's been treating Killswitch like shit. I'm sure he wants to regain the Luchasaurus name. And if he shows that he can do what Christian couldn't do clean, and that's beat Copeland, I just think that's great storytelling because then you can dovetail it back to a Killswitch versus Christian
Okay.
feud. So I say Killswitch 100%.
Yeah.
We'll see if AEW agrees, though. They may very well not.
It would be funny
Um,
as hell if it was Nick Wayne. Good lord, what a joke that would be.
oh my god, yeah, yeah, a joke where no one
John's like, oh
laughs.
yes, I think that the highest ranking member in Christian's faction should win the title. And AEW just like, yeah, we agree. Nick
Yeah,
Wayne.
yes,
Fuck.
I know. I know. Why does this happen to me? Uh,
Oh
so,
God, wasn't it like a Simple Plan song?
how could this happen to me?
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck those guys.
I know
Um,
they're awful.
so okay, just a lot of comments right now, not really many questions. So again, guys, questions are still open, but you know that I'm far less liberal with keeping the gates open as I used to be because I know how this shit can get.
Fucking lib.
I know. God, dude, my family has the same energy. Hopefully, ironically, I think they know that I'm 11. I don't even know anymore what's going on in my own house. I'm like, what's happening?
Oh, that's
Um,
concerning. Jesus.
not seeing any questions, so I'm gonna give 5 seconds here. Oh, wait. Super Blue did ask something. Why is Adam Cole treating Wardlow like dirt because he failed? You answered your own
Bro,
question, bro,
you
because he failed.
literally answer. You gave like literally add a punctuation after dirt, and you answered the question in your own question. Why is Adam Cole treating Wardlow like dirt? Because he failed.
Super Blue, you somehow miraculously, I don't even know how you pulled this off. You did the thing that they do in movies that I used to love in the 90s, where they're like, you can't do this to me because my name is this thing. But because your name is this thing, that's why it's happening. You did the thing, but with like none of the pop. So,
How the fuck
God
does that
damn.
happen? How does that happen, John?
I don't, dude. I feel. I know this is too strong a word for that, but I feel low key vile. Like, what? Um, so Super Blue, how do you feel about Alex retiring? I think he means Motor City Machine Guns. And then Foster followed that up with, where do you think the Motor City Machine Guns are headed? I'll just do a 1-2 shot. I didn't think that Shelly was retiring. I thought him and Saban were going to AEW together.
I
Um,
guess I was hopeful that they might end up in New Japan, but they're probably going to AEW. Yeah, you're right.
they'll go to they'll go to AEW and they'll do some stuff and it'll be cool, I guess. Oh, Alex Coughlin retire. You know what? That's a bummer.
Oh
That's a
yeah, I
bummer.
wanted to talk about that with you. I didn't know if you even knew about that.
I read it in the Discord. I did read it in the Discord. That sucks.
Yeah,
That fucking, I mean, that dude was a stud.
Yeah.
That is a career cut way, way too short.
Yeah.
Um,
Really unfortunate.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I could say about that, to be quite truthful. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, now people are crying to me. No, we got it, guys, we got it. Um, Foster's hoping that Motor City Machine Guns go to NXT, bro. I've just given up on anybody going to NXT. When it didn't happen with Okada, when I thought it would have been really cool, when you guys were like, "Oh, Okada for Chase U," I'm like, "Wow, wow, that sounds awesome. Actually, let's do it." And it didn't happen. I'm like, "Yeah, dreams are for the weak, and they're
Dream
dead."
deferred.
I love that you did the thing. You might have even done it with more charisma than I do. Respect. Um, so let's see.
Wow.
Um,
I can't say I expected you to give me that much credit. Thank you.
you know what? Well, your face deserves it. It works very hard and deserves things. And I know it's working hard in a very scary time in the world. Um,
Yeah. This place sucks.
dude, I'm not gonna get into that, but you're right. Abel, have you acknowledged your travel? Yes. Every day. I acknowledge my actually, you know what? No, no. Maybe I didn't acknowledge him today like I should have, but you know what? I'm gonna be the one here because I did, risk my
We are
neck
the
last year at
ones.
WrestleMania. Well, actually you went further than I was going to. I said, why would I acknowledge the tribal chief when I've already acknowledged it's better in the form of your fucking face, Abel? Yeah.
Yeah, Abel, you're the tribal captain.
Exactly. God, I love you and I love being your father. And given that I've told every prospective woman that I could have ever dated or fallen in love with, I'm not making kids with you. What the fuck? Like to say that I found a child that makes me proud to be a father, you're a god. You're a man. You're a god posturing as a man. I don't really know what else to say about it.
Oh God, I just
Um,
realized that apparently captain is ranked lower than chief. You're the tribal superintendent.
yeah, see, you got there, bud. You got there. God, I'm so proud of you both. Anyway, well, here's the big question. How do you feel about Utami leaving Stardom, John? Javaris, I will say this. I have been avoiding spoilers for her title match with Micah. I'm guessing maybe that kind of gives the game away how it went. But to be fair, I expected it. I'm still looking forward to seeing the match though whenever they get it up. Utami's gonna do what she wants to do, man. She's so young yet. I worry that her career might have been shortened considerably with the cervical hernia. I don't know. I mean, I know medical stuff is really advanced quite impressively to the point where Adam Copeland and Paige are able to make comeback, or excuse me, Soraya are able to make comebacks. So I'm hoping that she still has a long career, but she should spend it where she wants to spend it. If she likes Rossi and she's always, appreciated Rossi's belief in her, which I mean, hell, her amazing world title reign happened under his watch. Hell yeah, I'm packing my bags and I'm going to greener pastures too. I'm not taking a bet that Bushiroad's going to see the same in me, even though, to be honest, I don't feel like Bushiroad would have done her that dirty if she stayed. But yeah, if she's leaving, it's her career. I want her to be happy with her career. I'm gonna follow her wherever she goes. And I actually think Utami is one of the few people where I know I've said that before, but with her, I think I genuinely mean it. She's amazing. So she's gonna do what she wants to do. I'm trying not to get too broken up about it. I just want to know what the hell Rossi's doing next, really. That's the worst part of ours, if you want to know the truth, is the ambiguity of it. Because we don't know what Rossi's gonna do next. And that doesn't really give us a lot of options. Um,
Do you know what's fucking hilarious?
what's that?
Lexis King has been wrestling longer than Utami.
Isn't it amazing when people tell on themselves with the suck?
Dude, the even funnier part about that is that PWI awarded him Rookie of the Year 2019, and Utami came in third that year.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on PWI's website. I'm gonna find their contact form. We're gonna have a very respectful discourse. It's gonna be great. Actually, no, you know what? That's way too formal. I think we could just do Twitter, right? Um, at PWI. I'm gonna do this in real time. Oh my God, we were just talking about Utami, and on my front page is Utami sitting in a throne. Okay, I need to share this
Wow.
in the Discord.
Okay.
Oh my God, what the fuck? Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna harass PWI later. There's plenty of time for that. But yeah, that's bullshit. That honestly, I think you made my brain stop for like 2 seconds just from the sheer disgust of that statement. So yeah, let's see. Let's just kind of recap where we are with our questions. Super Blue said, "Do you think Drew takes out CM Punk in Chicago tonight on Raw?" He might like do a right hand, but Punk will get saved probably by Rollins or something, and it'll be awkward. They'll have a stare down or whatever, so that they can keep building their stuff. So I could see maybe a bit of physical interaction, but either that or just no, because CM Punk is injured and they may want to take it like gently. Um,
I need to address this question from Javaris because he said,
yes,
"Do you think Suzu leaves to stay with Rossi, or does she follow Julia to WWE when she eventually leaves?" The problem there, Javaris, is that WWE has to want Suzu, and I don't think they would.
yeah,
I mean, we love Suzu, but Suzu does not fit WWE at all. She doesn't fit their aesthetic. She doesn't fit their style. I don't know if she is any good at English or has any interest in learning English. Julia literally, like, we've heard reports that Julia is literally going to put in the time this year to improve her English. And, like, we've got no evidence that Suzu's interested in anything like that at all. So, like, that feels like very much wishful thinking on your end, bud.
Julia is looking at herself and she's like, "I've got the look. I'm a great enough wrestler. If I make my English sharp enough, I'm making all the fucking money." I'm like, I'm ready to get this bag by being the fucking
Julia's
bag.
ready to follow Okada's lead and ditch the yen.
Dude, kudos to people that want to be rich that are ditching their own economies. The only kind of rich tactic I will defend, you see where the economy is going, and you're like, no, no, it's all going to go to shit, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to get mine before that happens. And you know what? Respect. Um, yeah, god damn. I just, God. She's gonna be great. I can't wait for her. I'm just on the Discord now. That's why I'm a bit happy. Okay, so that's what I got added in was you promoting the video, which is fair. And this is the Utami pick that I am just going to fawn over, especially when we go off the air, so that I can, be a professional because she looks just stunning. All right. Let us again gather questions. Well, you already kind of answered that question from Javaris. I guess I will say that I agree with you about the Suzu stuff. Um, but as far as who leads QQ now, Azumi or Kamitani, it's looking like all signs are pointing to Kamitani. Although to be honest, I really do wish Azumi would get her turn to run in Queen's Quest. Because like an Azumi Queen's Quest is very interesting to me, but I just think it's going to be Kamitani. I'm not even going to try and overthink it. Oh no, Foster's doing the thing with Chase U that I used to do with Money in the Bank. Now he's like Julia to Chase U. Dream starts now. Foster, no, learn from me. This doesn't end
I
well.
feel
It
like it's more
never
likely
ends
that Julia ends up in the family because she's Italian.
That would be a what the fuck? That sounds incredible. Oh my god. Super
She could
Blue.
maybe show Riz the ropes. Riz could help her with her English. It'd be a cool little tag team there.
I I I love it, and I love your face for all time, but I especially love it right now for that idea. That was amazing. Super Blue, I want to apologize. No, I didn't see the Show versus Yo question. We've gotten a higher volume this week. How do you feel about Show versus Yo finally for the junior title? I feel like it's way too late. Like I literally don't care. It's a shame because I remember when we were big fans of Show because we've never been fans of Yo, as you know, because you were doing all the
I mean,
heavy
I
lifting on
kind of
that
like
side, bud.
Yo at first, and then I was shown the superior and never went back.
You liked Yo, then you were shown that Show was oh god, amazing.
Superior!
We are doing next level wordplay, and I defy anybody to try and stop us.
They won't.
Um,
They can't. They would never.
dude, you're so right.
I know.
Um, let's see. I think now we're up to date on question. I think because now I'm looking at front. Super Blue again. Will we get JC versus Thea for the rights to chase you at Stand Deliver? You know what, Super Blue? Of all the questions
Ooh.
you've asked on here, that might be one of the best ideas you've had. Unironically, I didn't even think about that.
Why would it have to be
But
Thea? It should be JC versus Chase.
you know
It
what?
should be JC Jane versus Andre Chase. He's the one who ran the thing in the first place.
You know what though? The only reason I like it is because we know Thea still isn't 100% with Chase because of throwing in the towel in her NXT Women's Title match. So imagine Thea running Chase U and like, yeah, I dig it, Super Blue. I'm gonna give you this one. I'm gonna give you a 10 out of 10 for this one, bud. You earned it. All the now that doesn't mean I'm gonna tolerate all the LA Knight crap. Blah. But This was a win for you. This was a win for you. Savor it, my friend. Um, and Foster even admitted, Yo has grown on me immensely, but even I'm not that excited. Foster, I'm asking you a genuine question. Mainly because I love you and I would never hurt you because we're gonna make cinnamon buns together. Remember, that's what I promised you. I promised you I would never hurt you, and we'd make cinnamon buns every weekend. But has Yo had a character change since we last watched? Since we last watched, because the last time I saw Yo, I think Ashley can back me up on this. He just seemed like Shawn Michaels light in a way with the attire and everything else. Has he like undergone any personality shifts or anything? Because for you to say he's grown on you immensely, that just seems to suggest that he might have had some kind of a shift somewhere.
While
Um,
Foster is typing to respond to that, I want to address something else. Javaris seems really sad that Utami is leaving Stardom, but I think that Rossidom might very quickly become more accessible to those of us who don't speak Japanese, who speak English, than Stardom, because Sunny is following Rossi.
yeah,
So the fact that
yeah,
Sunny is the one that's following Rossi, like that, Sunny has been the one behind the English commentary, or not English commentary, the English subtitles on Stardom World. He's been the one running the English social media account. He's been the one uploading to Stardom World in the first place for all these years. And I mean, like, since I want to say like 2014, 15 ish. Like, he's been around for like a decade. He has been running the show on the Western front, basically, for Stardom, and now he's out of Stardom. So Rossidom is immediately going to pick up being very accessible to those of us who speak English and not Japanese. So I don't know why you're sad about Utami leaving. I'm excited to see what Rossidom looks like, man. I can't wait.
yeah. That's why I even said to Javoris earlier that I feel like my big thing, where like my tension and my stress is just the ambiguity of when is Rossi going to attack?
Yeah.
When is Rossi going to make his next move? Because I want to see it. So like I'm there, man. I'm ready for it to happen. We've been out here. We're waiting for it. So I hope it happens soon. But let me take a look at the chat and see because I was tabbed out there. If we've gotten any other questions. Um, so Subaru says that hasn't changed, but then Foster, whose reply I was waiting for because I did ask him the question, he said his new gimmick is that he's somewhat quirky. It doesn't always land, but he's at least has a personality now. Every now and then he gets a hearty laugh out of me. Interesting. Um, and then Jamar said a lot of Joshi fans hate that Sonny is going with Rossi. Well, hey, Sonny was already kind of complaining about things, so I'm guessing with Rossi, with just the two of them again, he'll probably be a lot happier.
I mean, yeah, that's the
Um,
thing is like Sonny said some things that he probably shouldn't have on a message board, and I'll definitely say like, yeah, that wasn't good, but I feel like there are a lot of Stardom fans who just, and really Joshi fans in general, who just think that he should just be like blackballed from the entire Joshi industry. And I think that that is a far too extreme, outcome for what he did. The worst thing that he did was like say some shit about some of the girls, not putting in the work at the gym like they used to. And like that's not something that you should be saying, and it's definitely insensitive for sure. And I'm not going to question that. But like if that's the worst thing that you say, that's slap on the wrist worthy and maybe fine worthy, but not like blackballed from the entire industry worthy.
yeah, exactly. That seems like an overreaction, which that seems to be what the IWC really deals in, is just overreaction. So,
Yeah, remember we want Cody.
God, God,
I'm sorry, I didn't want to hurt anyone.
no, no, reality hurt me first. Um,
That is true, but I didn't
but
have to weaponize that. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. You didn't. You're just, I mean, you're keeping stock. You're keeping the receipts. Somebody has to. Um,
Javaris, since you asked when the fuck Mayu leaves Stardom and books it to Rossidom, I wouldn't be surprised if it was as early as around this time next year, honestly. Um, their contracts are pretty short, so it wouldn't surprise me if her contract was just one more year.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to Mayu bailing because Mayu has just been amazing. Consummate pro. Even her being unhappy, look at how Mayu is handling business. she's unhappy, but she's still meeting all of her dates. She's still putting on great performances. I don't even think she's like phoning it in. She's
Yeah.
not like taking the piss online. Like, be like Utami, people. Wait out your time and then leave and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I'm I'm gonna be so happy for Mayu when she's free because she'll have earned her fucking freedom. You won't even be able to say, "Oh, but she was so unprofessional." No, she is doing everything right, and I like
Yeah.
my respect for her just continues to grow each passing month when we learn more about her as a person or we see more of her matches. Like Mayu, and this is a woman that, by the way, that I really didn't care about at first as part of the original Stardom trio of her, Kairi, and Io. For me, it was Kairi 1, Io 2, Mayu 3. No, Mayu's definitely gotten her flowers from me. She's really, really wonderful. And I look forward to when she can be happy again. And also, just to answer what Javaris also said, um, like I too am sad that Utami and Kamitani will no longer be together because Javaris, you more than anyone should know, because you watch enough of our content, how invested I am in this relationship of Utami and Kamitani, which that does lead to another question. How is that relationship going to be resolved? Like,
See,
is
and
it just going
that's
to be
the
like a
other
simple
thing
goodbye?
that we haven't really talked enough about. Because, God, I feel like such an old man lately because I feel like everyone else wants to react, 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 react. What's happening now? What's happening today and tomorrow? And nothing else matters. And I'm like, chill the fuck out. Let's look into the future and see what's happening because in my mind, Kamitani is sticking around in Stardom for now, right? But who's to say she doesn't dislike her next year in Stardom and decide, fuck this, I want to go back to being with Utami and I'm going to go to Rossidom after this contract runs out next year around this time. We could see
Yeah,
Aphrodite reunited in a year. Like,
yeah.
it's, you guys need to relax for real.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're just gonna have to see how things play out. We really are. But yeah, I am curious how this. I'll say this chapter and their relationship, how that's gonna be like kind of punctuated because I love them and their love for each other. Just especially when you're so used to just so much backstabbing and stuff like that
Yeah,
in pro wrestling, it's like
yeah,
God, this solidarity. It's what I fucking need.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, I'm for this. I'm absolutely for this.
Yeah, and I'm also kind of the opinion that like even if something comes up where Stardom or Bushi Road really is like, you know what, with Rossidom being something that exists now, we've got to start signing longer contracts, and they sign Saya to like a 3-year deal. She is still so good and so athletic, and she will still. I don't think. I don't know. She might be 30 by the time that 3-year deal runs out. Saya Kamitani, I think she's 27, right? Yeah. So she'll be
Yeah.
30 years old by the time my contract runs out. Like, that's how old Mayu is now. And look at how fantastic she is. And I think Kamitani might even be more athletic than her. Like, she's going to be still so good. And after the 3 years are up, even if she didn't hate those 3 years, even if she has a great time in stardom, she might be like, man, I really miss wrestling with and against Utami. I want to go wrestle for stardom, for Rossidom. I want to go do that now. And she could do it. And that's what's so exciting to me is like, we've got Bushiroad Stardom, which already has a huge built-in fan base and is going to stay big. But now Rossi has money. He's going to be able to build this thing up, and they're both going to have to fill out their rosters with new people, which is going to make the product exciting on both sides. And I'm just really excited to see new people, man, on both sides.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time for Joshi for sure.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for Rossi and whatever happens with that. I'm happy that these women have options. Really, like it. I think that's great for them too.
I think the
Speaking of,
thing that
I
I'm
have
dreading most is trying to learn the new name of the Rossidom promotion because he has some weird ass names in his history.
Yes. Speaking of Joshi, I've my what's been on my mind a lot is the TJPW show coming up that I know we said we were going to try and react to at the very least, like the big matches on that show. Because I do have that Wrestle Universe subscription, and I'm like, yeah, that show is only in like a few days. It should
Yeah,
be.
I think it's the
Um,
30th.
is it the 30th? I think you mentioned the 30th, yeah. Which would mean, yeah, Saturday. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, like Joshi's really popping off right now. And I'm just excited for the future of it. But guys, you know what? I am gonna close the gate here only because I feel like we spent a lot of time on that. And like I do want to get out of here with a little bit of time. before Raw. So let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. Actually, before we even do that, I'll just ask very quickly, did you do any extracurriculars this week?
No.
Okay, me either. Okay, perfect. All right, so
Bragging.
high spots and low shots. Um, I guess my low shot will be Rey Mysterio. You know, he lost to Santos. He still has veiled face because he should. 10 out of 10. Um, and you know, your own son still hates you, so that's gonna make for awkward family dinners. Ray's my low shot. Who's your low shot?
Um, Eddie Kingston for losing the Continental Championship.
Nice, nice. Um, I'm gonna say high spot for me. God, who is my you know what? My high spot is freaking Obafemi. All he did was show up, but like he's Obafemi. And like, you know, he's not sweating any challengers. Now Ava's doing this tournament, and Oba's just like, okay, you know, whatever, whoever my next victim is, just call me. And like, I love it. I love the confidence. It was a great week for him because he exists. It's probably the lowest bar in high spot history that I've given, but it's him. There's an exception to every rule, and we've meant the exception in all of its girthy glory. Who is your high spot?
My high spot is going to be I'm gonna be I think you gave wait, who was your high spot again?
Obafemi.
Okay, that's what I thought. Um I guess I will keep it simple and say Roxanne for beating Tatum.
Damn. I also want to point out to you that Foster, you know, actually picked a high spot, but he, in his heart, he wanted to make his high spot your face. So, like,
That's
go with
beautiful.
that today.
Just
Yeah.
like your face, Foster.
Oh my God. Everybody's got butterflies in their stomach today. I love it. Um, so yeah. When Foster is cheeky, he apologizes because like that was harsh. I apologize because he said low shot is sadly Rey Mysterio. You should have used a tissue. Damn. Um, thing. Your heel turn's gonna be legendary because your burns aren't even like mean spirited, they're just clever. And like I'm like, damn, I'm taking notes. But yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad we're able to do interview now because Ashton was like, you want to do 2 weeks worth next Saturday? And I'm like, no. This close to Mania weekend, the easier we can make it on us, because like even this week, guys, is gonna be nuts. We've got a Q&A this week. And Stardom Catch Up, I think, should be a bit heftier because it should be the Utami Micah title match pay per view and the Cinderella semis and finals this week, hopefully. So it's going to be a lot. This week's going to be nuts. We've got Raw in less than an hour. And man, I've got a lot of catch up to do because, again, I literally started my day with this. I am so hungry right now. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, we've got Discord time, Raw, NXT SmackDown. We've got Q&A this week. We've got Stardom recap, this week. Again, it's going to be a bigger one. In review next Saturday at
Oh
10:30.
yeah, I wanted to
Then
ask you by the way, do you think we should do Q&A first at 7 and then Stardom or other way around?
I'm gonna say other way around.
You think Stardom first, get that done and then Q&A after?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be Stardom, and then I think our rule is, whenever we finish, we round up and like add an hour.
Yeah.
So
So like
yeah,
if we were doing Stardom, we were wrapping it up right now, we would be going live with Q&A at 9.
exactly, exactly. Um, so yeah, we'll be sure to make that crystal clear, like on Thursday, to be like, oh hey, come back to us at such and such a time. But yeah, it's gonna be a big week just for Thursday alone, and then the week after, I mean, it's Mania week, and
Mania!
because of Super Blues 12 Request Live, we're gonna be reacting to Stand and Deliver, which I saw begins at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So I am
What
fucked,
the fuck?
dude. You and me both. I am fucked.
Why?
But
Is it in Australia?
yeah, well, WrestleMania and stuff just gets all the hype and everything else. But Super Blue, you are a loyal patron. You've been a loyal fan of ours for a long time. And if you want us to react to this, I mean, I'm personally excited to see Roxanne versus Lyra. So that should be really fun. So we're gonna get up on here again. It begins 12 p.m. Eastern time. Pray for us, people. But TWitWoW's done bigger things before.
Is
We're
it
gonna
in
rise to this occasion.
Thailand?
Yeah. Oh my god, now you're just naming countries. But no, look, TWitWoW rises to the occasion all the time. We're gonna do it again, baby, because you gotta back winners, baby. Kirby, I need more of your face. I know it's selfish, but I love you, and that's a you
No, it's
problem.
not. How's it
Yeah.
selfish?
Because his life is his own, but maybe you shouldn't have been so lovable to literally
I
everyone
mean,
else.
he chose us first. He can't get mad when we choose him to.
You know what? God, you're so right. I know you don't even mean to enable like my face, but like I'm taking it. I'm
No,
taking
I
the worst
definitely
aspects
do.
of.
That's definitely the intention.
Yeah. But no, Kirby, in all seriousness, we hope you're okay out there. And like I've internalized your isms and I love you. And I do wish we could see you more, but I know you've always had something going on seemingly. So I
He
hope
has
you're okay.
been through some shit, bro.
He really has, man. He really, really has. But with that said, everyone, you know the deal. I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna go enjoy my life, and then I'm hoping to be on here for Raw. At most, I should maybe be on at 8:30. I'm gonna be on with you guys though. You guys are my fucking people. I've genuinely missed being in the Discord chats with like Foster and Sean and Javaris, kind of talking about these shows. So I hope to be there. I just got to take care of me first. You guys take care of all of you and anybody that wants to meet back up again. Discord, sometimes we get a call going. I haven't done calls in forever because honestly, it's better for my brain and just everything to be in the chats. I feel like I'm also being more engaged in the show and I'm able to give more substantive comments when I'm in the chat. So you can find me in live wrestling discussion. Hopefully, again, I'm gonna commit myself to 8:30, no later, to be on. So I'll miss probably the first segment, and then you guys can fill in the gaps. But let's see. Can Sammy beat Gunther? Can Cody not be annoying? No, no. Actually, questions are only good when there's actually ambiguity about the answer. We already know that's not happening. What's gonna happen on Monday Night Raw? We'll find out. All right, guys, see you then. Until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.